station of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Arizona.
3 comebacks, 3 wins. The D-backs' first sweep of the season here at Chase Field showcased good starting pitching, timely hits, and some flashy defense. Any sweep is welcome news, but now the last place team leads and a division leader has arrived. Tonight, the Detroit Tigers will throw 3 MVP awards and a Cy Young at the D-backs. Yep, it's Miguel Cabrera, Justin Verlander, and the men from Motown. Next on Fox Sports Arizona. Chase Field, nice and clean, just finished sweeping up after the Cubs. The D-backs have won 7 of their last 10, but now the bar has been raised. The AL Central leading Detroit Tigers are here, the best road record in baseball, and leading the American League in hitting. And tonight it's Justin Verlander for Detroit and Vidal Nuno for the D-backs. Good evening from Chase Field. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthume and Bob Brenly along the way. We have a polar opposite pitching matchup for you here tonight. Justin Verlander and Vidal Nuno. Diamondbacks hot coming off a sweep of the Cubs, but Bob, now that water in that pool gets a little bit deeper.
Yeah, no question about it. The Tigers made it to the postseason the last 3 consecutive years. Maybe not quite as strong this year as they've been in years past, but they're having a great season, leading the American League Central, a very winnable division for them. They have the biggest division lead of any team in baseball. They're led offensively by Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez, and a strong supporting cast around them.
Miguel Cabrera is a handful. How do the Diamondbacks handle him in this series?
Well, you hope to get Cabrera to the plate with nobody on base and try to limit the damage, because he is going to do damage. This guy's the best right-handed hitter, if not the best hitter in the game of baseball right now. He's going to get his hits. You just try to keep the traffic off base in front of him.
Miguel Cabrera, a couple of MVP awards in the American League for the Tigers. Here in the National League West, the Diamondbacks have a Rookie of the Year candidate. He's leading off and playing center field tonight, David Peralta.
Yeah, I heard you guys talking on the radio last night on my drive home. David Peralta needs to start getting some pub. This guy is having an unbelievable season. You see where he ranks among Major League rookies. Since his recall here to the major leagues, almost half of his games have been multi-hit. If there is one flaw in his offensive game, he doesn't walk a lot, but when you get as many base hits as David Peralta does, you don't have to walk very often.
17 multi-hit games already, nearly half his games in the major leagues. Justin Verlander takes on the D-backs, but is he the guy that was MVP and Cy Young in the same year a few years ago? Well, the guy we've seen this year, a little different. Jody Jackson has news on that when we come back. to you in part by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Jack in the Box. If the D-backs hit a home run today, score a free Jumbo Jack tomorrow with a purchase of a large drink.
And welcome back to Chase Field, where the Detroit Tigers visit Chase for the first time since 2008. These two teams also met in Detroit in 2011. Welcome back to the show. Jody Jackson with you as we get you set for first pitch tonight. Vidal Nuno for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and AL MVP and Cy Young Award winner back in 2011, Justin Verlander, will take the hill for the Detroit Tigers. But this season has been very different for JV. In fact, he's given up at least 2 runs in each of his 20 starts this season. So, not as dominant as he has been in past years. But the Diamondbacks, they tell the story of expecting to see that Justin Verlander that's been in Cy Young form. In particular, Mark Trumbo, who I asked about facing Justin Verlander.
He's one of the best in the game, regardless of how his recent track record has been. I've seen him, when he's at his best, and he threw a couple complete games against when I was with the Angels, and hitting 100 in the 8th and 9th. So he's got that in his pocket. We gotta get good pitches to hit.
Well, the struggles for Justin Verlander seem to have started around May 14th against Baltimore, and you see these last 11 starts, a 3-6 record, an ERA above 6. Fastball command has been an issue. Brad Ausmus, his manager, talked a little bit about that, and of course, the velocity has been down a touch for Justin Verlander this season. So, should be interesting. This is his first start coming off the All-Star break. We'll see how it goes for Justin Verlander, but the Arizona Diamondbacks just want to keep it going. A sweep of the Cubs over the weekend. Can they make it 4 straight? It would be their first 4-game winning streak of 2014.
Friendly Jody Jackson along the way, set to go for the Tigers and the Diamondbacks. First of 3 from here in downtown Phoenix. D-backs tonight looking for a 5th consecutive win here at home. They have won 7 of their last 10 overall, coming off a 3-game sweep of the Cubs. And Vidal Nuno opens up against Austin Jackson. We are underway from Chase Field. Strike one says Brian Knighty is the plate umpire tonight. Vidal Nuno, he'll turn 27 years old Saturday, and a pre-birthday present tonight. He gets to face the Tigers in his 3rd start as a Diamondback.
Never faced the Tigers before, so he's got the element of surprise working for him. I'm sure the Tigers have a little bit of video scouting, but first time they've seen him up close in person.
He's ahead of Austin Jackson, the leadoff man. A ball and 2 strikes. The numbers on El Nino. He has, for the most part, pitched very well as a Diamondback through 2 starts so far, one against the Marlins and one against the Giants in San Francisco. Jackson, 264 on the year, 3 homers.
I was just going to say that's about top end on his fastball right there. That last one at 91, elevated up and away from Jackson. He usually pitches in the high 80s. Occasionally will touch 90, maybe feeling it a little bit here early tonight. He's hit 90 a couple of times already in the ball game.
2 balls and 2 strikes to the Tigers' leadoff man and center fielder. Austin Jackson, a hot bat in this Detroit lineup right now. 16 hits in his last 9 games. And they just recently, in the last 17, put him up top back in the leadoff spot, and he has really responded nicely. They get off to a great start this season. He was hitting over 300 at the end of April. But through the months of May and June, he hits just 216. So when July rolled around, Brad Ausmus, their manager, flipped the lineup, put Jackson back up top, and it's worked out really well. Another 2-2. Got him. Good start for El Nino. With El Nino, your Arizona Ford starting pitcher Miguel Montero behind the plate tonight. Tuffy Gozawish caught Nuno's first 2 starts with the D-backs.
Well, he throws pretty much every pitch. He's got a fastball, cutter, slider, curveball, changeup. So he throws all of them, and he's not afraid to throw them in any count. So his best plan is to mix them up and keep hitters off balance. And I think that's what he does well. He has a little bit of movement on every pitch, so he just finds a way to miss barrels.
I think the best plan for Nuno is not to have a plan. Don't pitch in any kind of sequence. Don't go to a certain pitch every time you reach a 1-2 count on a right-handed hitter. Yeah, he's not overpowering with the fastball. None of his other stuff would really grade out off the charts, but he knows how to use the pitches he has, and if he avoids falling into patterns, he should be able to work his way carefully through this Tigers lineup.
Ian Kinsler lifts that one out to right field. Easy play for Gerardo Parra. 2 down. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Tigers tonight. It's our Tiger Pro starting lineup.
Now we've seen Austin Jackson at the top. Ian Kinsler just flied out to right field. Miguel Cabrera with his 75 runs driven in, leading the majors, followed by Victor Martinez and Torrey Hunter. Is it Eugenio or Eugenio?
Eugenio Suarez.
Suarez, there we go. Brian Holiday catching today. Rajay Davis out in left field, and Justin Verlander, the right-hander, on the mound.
And here comes trouble, as Bob mentioned. Miguel Cabrera leading the major leagues in RBIs. You see the OPS still outstanding, 15th best in the majors. But it's down 180 points from last year when he led the major leagues and won the AL MVP award for the 2nd straight year. Nuno jumps ahead 0-2.
I'm really going to age myself here. I can remember when Miguel Cabrera was a skinny little rookie for the Florida Marlins at the time, playing third base. Looked like you could knock the bat out of his hands. That is not the case anymore.
6'4", 240. And Vidal Nuno strikes out Cabrera on 3 pitches. 2 strikeouts in the first. An outstanding start for Vidal Nuno. It's the Tigers and D-backs on Fox Sports Arizona. Field against your Arizona Ford starting pitcher for the Tigers, Justin Verlander. Different guy this year. The strikeouts and velocity are down fairly dramatically, in fact. Hits and runs allowed are up. He's won just twice in his last 8 starts. Mark Trumbo saw a lot of Verlander in the American League.
It's got a slider, curveball, changeup. I've seen them all, and they're all good. So you got to formulate a game plan on what you want to hit, and he's obviously got a nice repertoire. So you look forward to challenges like this.
And the first up to the challenge is the new leadoff man tonight, David Peralta. In center field, looks at strike one from Justin Verlander. The numbers might not match the name here. A .500 record, an ERA near 5. No pitcher in the major leagues has allowed more earned runs this season than Justin Verlander. It's been a little bit of a mystery this year, and here we might find the answer, Bob.
Yeah, the fastball velocity. These are average velocities. There have been times when Verlander has hit triple digits with that fastball. Not so much this year.
And Tapper back to the mound, and Verlander has it, one away. Let's take a look at the Diamondbacks tonight. It's our Tire Pro starting lineup.
David Peralta at the top tonight. Aaron Hill making his way to the plate right now. Paul Goldschmidt had a big weekend series against the Cubbies. Miguel Montero cleaning up. Mark Trumbo in left field. Gerardo Parra out in right field. Martin Prado at third base. Didi Gregorius at shortstop, and Vidal Nuno on the mound.
And we await the first Verlander-Goldschmidt matchup of the evening. Aaron Hill in the 2-hole tonight. First pitch swinging. Chops it to short right. In Kinsler. 4 pitches and 2 outs for Verlander. And here comes Goldie.
You wonder with Verlander as well. I mentioned they've made the playoffs the last 3 seasons, and of course he's a major reason for that, but the innings taken their toll. He's thrown over 200 innings 7 consecutive seasons, and then you tack on the postseason innings on top of that, the spring training innings, and you have to wonder if it's not starting to take its toll on Justin Verlander.
Goldie 311, 18 homers and 65 RBIs. Yeah, Verlander has thrown 93 innings in the postseason in his career. That's an extra season for some guys. He jumps ahead of Goldie 0-2.
You heard Mark Trumbo give you his arsenal. Throws his fastball about 50% of the time, and then he mixes it up very evenly. The changeup, curveball, and slider, the 3 of his secondary pitches, and he'll use all of them.
He strikes out Goldie on 3 pitches. Cabrera down on 3. Goldschmidt down on 3. No score through 1. fans, check out FoxSportsArizona.com for all your online local sports coverage. Dak Magruder is here. He'll have post-game analysis and reaction from the clubhouse. Greg Morgan examines higher expectations for the Cardinals this week as camp opens. And Randy Hill has the latest on the Suns' very interesting negotiations with Eric Bledsoe. Things seem to have stalled a bit lately. All that and more, FoxSportsArizona.com. Vidal Nuno, 2 strikeouts in the first inning, and now he'll face the red-hot Victor Martinez to open up the second. And Victor Martinez having a big offensive season at the age of 35, 8th best batting average in the major leagues. 21 home runs. He hit 14 all of last year. And you see that OPS, that is 5th best in the majors and up 180 points over last season. He is really having a year. Look at the difference here for V-Mart.
That's almost as many home runs as he has struck out on the season. Only 27 punch-outs the entire year. That's an unusual combination. A power hitter that makes solid, consistent contact. One strikeout every 13 at bats.
He is very hitterish.
That's why Wally Joyner, their hitting coach, is smiling over there.
2-0. Martinez was an all-star for the 5th time in his career this year, despite an injury that kept him out of the all-star game. He's been bothered by some soreness in his right side, in and out of the lineup a bit this month. He's missed 11 games. Nuno falls behind 3-1. A tough lineup for Vidal Nuno. Soft tossing lefty. The Tigers are extremely right-hand heavy. In fact, tonight their lineup consists of 8 right-hand hitters and a switch hitter, Martinez. So he's got his work cut out for him, and he walks Martinez to lead off the second. Let's take a look at the Diamondbacks behind Vidal Nuno. It's our mid-first bag starting defense.
It'll be Trumbo in left, Peralta in center, Parra over in right field, Martin Prado and Didi Gregorius on the left side of the infield, Aaron Hill and Paul Goldschmidt on the right side. Miguel Montero once again behind the plate for lefty Vidal Nuno.
David Peralta out there in center field, his 9th start in center this year. He's played just under 70 innings out there. Torrey Hunter launches the first pitch high and deep and gone. 2-0 Tigers. 14th home run for Torrey Hunter.
Well, he's having some kind of month of July. That 2-run homer gives him 19 RBI on the month, slugging nearly 700. That's 9 extra base hits in the month of July alone.
And he jumped on that one.
Belt high fastball, inner third of the plate. That's a pitch you dream about right there. And Torrey Hunter wasn't going to wait and see what else Nuno had. He jumps on the first fastball he sees to spot the Tigers to a 2-0 lead.
108 miles an hour off the bat. Here's the shortstop, Eugenio Suarez. Torrey Hunter just turned 39 a couple of days ago. His 18th year in the big leagues. And here is the 23-year-old Suarez. And he has been kind of where the shortstop carousel is finished up on. It's been a major issue for the Tigers all year long. They had Jose Iglesias, the spectacular Cuban defender at short. They got him from Boston at the trade deadline last year. Iglesias was hitting .330 when he was traded, and he played highlight reel defense for Detroit against Oakland and Boston in the playoffs, but he has not played at all for the Tigers this year. He's got stress fractures in both shins, and he is out for the season. And so they have tried a whole bunch of guys over there. Easy play for Aaron Hill, and that's the first out here in the second.
Catcher number 50, Brian Holiday.
The catcher, Brian Holiday. Alex Sevilla, their normal catcher, a left-hand hitter, getting the night off. And so Holiday from the right side behind the plate tonight. Nuno ahead 0-2. And so far his D-backs career has been very encouraging after arriving from the Yankees in the Brandon McCarthy deal. Really, with the exception of one pitch to Buster Posey, the grand slam in his previous start, he's looked good. But after a very impressive first, he's run into trouble here in the second.
Diamondbacks beat Jake Arrieta of the Cubs yesterday, who went to Texas Christian University, as did Brian Holiday. Johnny won the Johnny Bench Award, given annually to the top catcher in collegiate baseball. Minor league numbers would indicate not a big time offensive player, but catch and throw guy. Nice backup.
He was a 6th round pick by the Tigers out of TCU in 2010. And at the big league level this year, he's striking out about once every 4 at bats. Teed him up for that nicely. 2 down. 3 strikeouts for Nuno.
Nuno taking a little bit off of that breaking ball, making it a little bigger and rounder, more of an off-speed pitch. Right in there for a swinging strike 3.
Got to be careful here with Rajai Davis. A 3-hit game in Kansas City on the day before the All-Star break. And he's been a nice signing for the Tigers. He's at .292 on the year. But he is crushing left-hand pitching at a .366 clip this season. There you go.
And he's definitely a guy you want to keep off the bases. Leads this Tigers team with 24 steals this season.
Off the fist, and that will roll into center for a 2-out single. Everything's going Rajai Davis's way lately. Last 17 games, he's hitting .370, and he'll certainly smile and take that one.
Yeah, they all count. Little slider that got in on the hands of Davis that time, but a strong guy hitting in that 8th spot in the lineup just muscles it out into center field.
Justin Verlander. Historically, he's been a terrible hitter, but he's got a couple of knocks this year. It's at the track for Trumbo. He gave it a ride. Toriano is the one that got it out of here. His 14th makes it 2-0 Tigers. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Coming up for the Diamondbacks, Miguel Montero leads it on. Thanks to Torrey Hunter's 14th home run of the year. He'll face Miguel Montero, Mark Trumbo, Gerardo Parra, 4, 5, and 6 in the Arizona second. And we'll keep an eye on the velocity readings for Verlander tonight. He is a guy who has averaged more than 2 fewer strikeouts per 9 innings than he did last year. And of course, he used to work at 97 on the radar gun all the time. Now more 88 to 93, a little more of a finesse approach, Bob.
Yeah, we were talking to Rod Allen, the fine announcer for the Detroit Tigers, earlier before the ball game, and he was saying Verlander throwing a lot more breaking pitches this year, trying to spot his fastball, be more of a finesse guy. But you can see the ERA and the WHIP have consistently gone up as the velocity has gone down. It's hard not to draw a correlation between the loss of velocity and the increase in these numbers.
Yeah, it's just evolution here from power pitcher to more of a guy who will try and keep you off balance, mix his pitches. He can still hump it up to 97 if guys are on base, but he's attacking hitters differently now, looking for different ways to get guys out. Miguel Montero leads it off in the second. Miggy 263, 11 homers. You see the 55 RBIs. That's tied for 9th most in the league. Justin Verlander did not go to the All-Star game last week. First time in 5 years he did not go. And instead he went to a beach in Mexico with Kate Upton, but that's a story for another time and another show.
So who got rewarded?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
2-1.
We'll gladly pass on that All-Star bonus this year.
Well, Verlander faced the Athletics 3 starts ago, and afterward A's hitting coach Chili Davis has said that Verlander now has become more of a finesse guy than a power guy. So this is something that opposing teams have seen against Verlander this year.
And certainly we haven't seen enough of Justin Verlander to really make a statement. But when you have a guy that's been a power pitcher his whole career, when he needs to, he reaches back and throws 100 miles an hour, just aims for the catcher's mask and blows it right by guys. Now all of a sudden you're going to try to hit corners with 91, 92, 93. That's not always an easy adjustment.
Well, Chili Davis was saying it's not like Verlander still doesn't have a good arm. He's certainly got that, but he's not pitching the same way. And he used to crank up the velocity and attack hitters, and now he'll throw sliders to righties, changes and curves to lefties, show the fastball up, then try to get somebody to chase something on the outer half. But it's still in the tank if need be. That was always the impressive thing, Bob, about Verlander's velocity. He'd be rolling along there with all those innings. Late in the season, in fact, it could be 8th, 9th inning, and he'd be throwing 100. He'd still have it at the very end every night. Another 2-2 to Miguel Montero. There's 95, misses inside, and it's full, 3-2.
A guy in the National League that's gone through a similar transformation with varying degrees of success. Tim Lincecum with the Giants. When he first broke into the major leagues, he was just a rare back and throw it as hard as you can for the middle of the plate guy, and had great success doing that.
Miggy reaches down and chops that one to Suarez behind the bag. It was a 7-pitch first for Verlander, but that was an 8-pitch at bat to Miguel Montero.
I don't want to make it sound like we're picking on Justin Verlander, but the numbers really are a little bit surprising this year. You see his career average on the right, and the numbers this season, especially the strikeouts per 9 down, the walks per 9 up, and which could possibly speak to that different style of pitching, trying to work to the corners of the plate a little bit more, change speeds a little bit more.
Mark Trumbo, we mentioned at the top of the show, has certainly seen Verlander before from his days in Anaheim.
Okay, even with the numbers where they are this season for Justin Verlander, you'd take him in your rotation in a second. This guy's a heck of a competitor. I don't care how fast his fastball is, he'll find a way to battle through a lineup.
You can see right there, that was 87 miles an hour and up, and he had Trumbo jumping out of his shoes. Mark 3 for 18 since he's come back from the foot injury that kept him out 71 games. Lays off that one. It's 2-1. Mark not in the starting lineup yesterday. Kirk Gibson still not ready to commit to putting Trumbo out there every day coming off the foot injury. And Gibby said it's not an injury concern. It's more of a rehab situation. Just doesn't think running him through a whole bunch of days in a row at this point is a smart thing to do. There's a strike, 2-2.
You could certainly understand that approach given where the Diamondbacks are in the standings right now. But to be quite honest, Mark's looked good. Running the bases, getting down the first base line, covering ground out there in left field. He has shown no ill effects from that broken foot.
Paints the corner at 95 for his second strikeout. Let's take a look now at the Tigers behind Justin Verlander. It's our mid-first bank starting defense.
Rajai Davis in left field, Austin Jackson in center, Torrey Hunter over in right field. It'll be Cabrera and Suarez on the left side of the infield. Third start this year at third base for Miguel Cabrera. Ian Kinsler and Victor Martinez on the right side. And Holiday behind the plate for right-hander Justin Verlander.
And Brian Osmus said in their last series, don't be surprised if you see Miggy over there at third in at least 2 games of this 3-game series. They have to find a spot for Victor Martinez's bat, so Martinez takes Cabrera's spot over there at first. Now, V-Mart could catch, but they'd rather not do that because he's older and a little more injury prone. So it's Martinez at first, Cabrera at third, and the rookie third baseman Nick Castellanos, who's a promising young player, is sitting out tonight. There's some serious offense on the infield corners for the Tigers. They will tap her back to the mound. Verlander retires Parra. He has gone 6 up, 6 down, and leads it 2-0.
Check out ADTV.
The time to tweet us your fan photo on the Twitter with a hashtag and the whole thing using a AZ fan photo for your chance to have your fan photo shown at our game broadcast. Of course, per approval of the Brenly Committee. That's brought to you by AT&T. Austin Jackson struck out to lead off the ball game. Brad Ausmus, the Tigers skipper, had said that Jackson, who used to be a leadoff man and then last year was moved down to the order, they had cooled off hitting down there. They were trying to search for a way to get him going. And so that's when he came up with the idea of putting him back in a spot that he's comfortable in. And boy, it's really worked out well. Giving them much more consistent at bats now. He's back in the leadoff spot where he says he likes best. Says you have a different mindset up there. You're more aggressive.
He still strikes out quite often, probably a little more than you would like for a leadoff hitter, but that just goes with the territory. He's the kind of hitter he is, a ripper and slasher. Tries to take advantage of mistakes, battles with 2 strikes, but he will strike out quite a bit.
2 balls and 2 strikes from Vidal Nuno. Remember Austin Jackson, of course, originally a Yankees draft pick. He was part of that big 3-team trade before the 2010 season that involved the D-backs. And Detroit did very well in that deal. They ended up with Jackson, Phil Koch, and Max Scherzer. Diamondbacks got Ian Kennedy. Yankees got Curtis Granderson. Well, at least they missed Max on his Cy Young award in this series. 3-2. Well hit, left field. Trumbo will watch it go. Austin Jackson, his 4th, and it's 3-0 Detroit.
Think back to Nuno's first start as a member of the Diamondbacks against the Miami Marlins. He gave up a lot of fly ball outs, and we commented at the time that's a dangerous way to go about your business in this ballpark. Hopefully the first 3 innings of this game not an indication of what the Tigers are going to do with their fly balls tonight.
Second home run given up tonight by Nuno, and here's Ian Kinsler, who flied out his first time, 1-0. Kinsler has had a quiet bat lately. He's 1 for his last 21 up there. Kinsler just before Thanksgiving traded from Texas to Detroit for Prince Fielder. That was a big deal. Tigers had to kick in some cash to help the Rangers pay for Prince, so Detroit sent about $30 million to Texas as part of that trade. And so far the deal has worked out much better for Detroit, with Prince out for the year in Texas after having surgery in May. He needed a cervical fusion of 2 discs in his neck, and that ended his season. This one is pulled to left. Trumbo on that foot tracks it down. Well, you said it, Bob. He's moving pretty well out there.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to suddenly be a world-class sprinter, but he's shown no signs of a limp. He's shown no hesitation going to his right or his left. And as we mentioned, he ran the bases really good over the weekend against the Cubs. Gets a good jump on this ball, makes it look fairly routine.
That's the first out. Here's Miguel Cabrera, who struck out on 3 pitches against Nuno back in the first. 0-1.
The 9th time this season that Cabrera has gone down on 3 straight pitches.
2-time defending American League MVP.
We just had the Marlins in town not too long ago, and it was quite a show during batting practice when Giancarlo Stanton came to the plate. Same thing for Miguel Cabrera today. He was hitting balls to right field like a left-handed pull hitter.
And opposite field power. Now, the numbers are amazing. His 12th major league season, he's a career .320 hitter and a 9-time All-Star. And he laces that one into center for a 1-out single. Go back to his days with the Marlins since 2003. Top 5 in all these offensive categories.
2-time AL MVP and a triple crown back in 2012. He is all over the offensive leaderboards, whatever era you pick, whatever time frame.
Although he said last week he's actually not fully recovered from a very serious groin injury. He had a painful groin tear last September and needed sports hernia surgery in October. Said it still bothers him. And that lower half not quite working as well as it might. And despite all that, he's still leading the planet in RBIs.
Yeah, if you get a chance tomorrow or Wednesday to get out here to the ballpark and take in some Tigers batting practice, it's worth the show.
Victor Martinez walked and scored his first time. There's a strike, 0-1. Martinez actually got the start at first base for the Tigers yesterday against Cleveland, almost kind of as a warm-up for this series against the D-backs. He is normally the DH. And of course, interleague road games means Brad Ausmus has to find a place in the field for Martinez to get that bat in the lineup. And they don't want him catching. He missed 11 of the last 13 games before the All-Star break with soreness in his right side. This is high in the air, center field, David Peralta. 2 down.
Martinez has only been behind the plate for 2 games this year. This is his 14th start at first base. The rest of his starts have come as a designated hitter.
He has been locked in at the plate this year. Speaking of which, here's Torrey Hunter, who punished a first pitch fastball from Nuno in his first at bat. Nuno now at 50 pitches, 35 for strikes. 0-1.
Wasn't going to throw that first pitch fastball again. Starting with the slider to the outer third of the plate this time around.
Torrey Hunter, a 5-time All-Star. Boy, these Tigers have some resumes. I'm looking at everything that these guys have accomplished as individuals. This was Torrey back in the second. Nuno this time ahead 0-2.
Of course, Torrey Hunter is probably better known for his defense than his offense, even though he's been a really good offensive player throughout his career. This guy's got 9 Gold Gloves. Only Ichiro has more Gold Gloves among active players.
And he won those 9 Gold Gloves all in a row. That's what's just write it in ink every year.
Oh yeah, every season. Highlight shows every night Torrey Hunter climbing a wall or making a diving catch or throwing somebody out on the bases. Here you see the most Gold Gloves all time as an outfielder.
And still a very productive offensive player at the age of 39. And his backhand stopped by Prado. They get the force on Cabrera. And that ends the inning. But Jackson homers. The Tigers add one more. D-backs trail it 3-0.
Knack for hitting. Just puts the barrel on the ball more than the average player. You know, and I think he's got a swing that he can repeat, and he's going to be good for a long time. It's kind of interesting how, you know, sometimes your career path's not the norm, but this guy can rake, and we're happy to have him.
And that is high praise. Our Geico quote from Mark Trumbo on David Peralta, who has really shown the Diamondbacks a lot of ability since his call-up on June 1st. And guys, you were talking about how he's maybe even burst onto the National League Rookie of the Year conversation. Billy Hamilton appears in the lead there, but again, June 1st, and he just continues to do it. Batting average .331 coming into this game, and 4 for 8 over the weekend against the Cubs.
I'm surprised, Jody, that some of the national media haven't picked up, Bob, on that narrative of David Peralta's remarkable story. That always helps with these types of awards, because they do, in one sense, become popularity contests.
I mean, you would think the multi-hit games in almost half of his starts would be enough to at least pique your interest.
It is amazing. And 3 consecutive 2-hit games for David Peralta. 38 games in his major league career. 17 of those, just under half, have been multi-hit games. That's remarkable, especially for a guy who started out as a pitcher. 0-2 on Martin Prado. Slaps that one into right to Torrey Hunter in his 9 gold gloves. 7 up, 7 down for Verlander.
Yeah, for David also you have to consider everybody he's facing is for the first time. This is all new. It's not like he's got a book on some of these opposing pitchers. Granted, he reads the advance reports, I'm sure, with Turner Ward and looks at some video, but until you actually stand in that batter's box and face a guy like Justin Verlander, Jake Arrieta, Tim Lincecum, take your pick. It's all new to him, and he is learning his way quickly.
Don't forget, he was a Rio Grande Valley White Wing. He was a Wichita Wingnut. He was playing in Amarillo when the Diamondbacks found him. 3 years of independent ball. Not affiliated with a major league team, just out there hoping that somebody noticed. And the Diamondbacks did. And boy, are they glad. Here's DD, 233 on the year. A pair of RBI singles in Friday's series opener against the Cubs. He was 0 for 3 yesterday. We had Didi on our Diamond Talk radio show after every home game. The word on the street is it's Snake Talk.
Snake Talk, yeah.
Snake Talk, by the way, growing in popularity. But Didi was a guest, and he said he sees the ball much better now in this new stance. He's actually kind of turned his head. He's lower and more athletic. We've talked about that, but he told us that he's really got both eyes now kind of locked on the pitcher, almost looking straight ahead, and it's really helped him see the ball better. And he takes a 4-pitch walk from Justin Verlander.
He saw it well that time.
Diamondbacks first base runner tonight.
You'd be surprised how many major league hitters. I remember the first time it was pointed out to me by Danny Ozark when he was a coach with the San Francisco Giants. I was really struggling at the plate, and one day in batting practice he said, "Close your left eye." He says, "Can you see me?" He was standing out on the mound throwing batting practice, and I could only see just a little bit of his body because my head was turned too far and I have a big nose. So he said, "Open your face up a little bit, face the pitcher, get both eyes on the pitch." And boy, it made all the difference in the world.
Well, Nuno has shown himself to be a very good bunter, and he gets that one down nicely to move Didi up 90 feet, 2 down. Yeah, because we always hear about some guys have a dominant left eye or a dominant right eye, and you're not standing with your shoulders square to the pitcher, obviously, but moving your head and facing him or looking straight at him seems to have made a big difference. And so here is David Peralta, who tapped back to the mound his first time up. Came into the ball game tonight hitting .331 on the year, second best among all major league rookies, behind only the Mets' Eric Campbell. And his first career appearance in the leadoff spot. What do you think of David Peralta as the leadoff man? Worth a try?
Yeah, it seems like this year has been all about experimentation after the really bad month of April that put the Diamondbacks behind the 8 ball. So why not? Give him a shot, see how he performs at the top of the order there, see how everybody fits in behind him. I mean, the bottom line is you're still trying to win a ball game every day you go out there on the field, but looking forward to the rest of this season and next season. Now is the time to kind of see how it all fits together, and the guys that you want on this roster moving forward and the guys that maybe don't have a spot on this roster moving forward.
Chief Baseball Officer Tony La Russa getting ready to be inducted into the Hall of Fame coming up. representing the Diamondbacks. His phone is blowing up these days. A ball and a strike to David Peralta. 2 outs. Gregorius is the runner at second. Tigers lead at 3-0 in a pair of homers. Hunter and Jackson. 2-1. David Peralta's family here visiting from Venezuela, including his wife and his parents. What a thrill it must be for their family. Right to Cabrera at third. D-backs still looking for their first hit against Justin Verlander. They trail at 3-0. Zombie died earlier this year. Well, it's back. So make sure you're here at Chase Field Saturday, August 2nd. D-backs and Pirates first 20,000 fans. Get this D-backs zombie bobblehead. You can get your tickets now calling 602-514-8400 or log on to dbacks.com. Eugenio Suarez, first pitch swinging. And a corn for Trumbo. 1 out in the 4th. Well, Vidal Nuno looked terrific in his D-backs debut July 18th here at Chase Field. That was against the Marlins. 7 scoreless, gave up only 3 hits. Struck out 7, retired 17 of the last 19 he faced. His previous start was against the Giants in San Francisco. That was the Sunday before the All-Star break, and he looked good through 4 scoreless. But then in the 5th allowed 2 hits, hit a batter, loaded him up for Buster Posey's grand slam, and that was it. Ball 1 to Brian Holiday. He struck out his first time. Nuno worked with Tuffy Gozowish in his first 2 starts, and Tuffy said he thought Nuno was as good in that start against the Giants as he was in his debut against the Marlins. Mixed up all his pitches, threw everything. Located at both sides of the plate, which is key. Anything to keep guys off balance. There's the pitching line from that start Sunday at San Francisco, just before the All-Star game. Didi Gregorius. And Nuno, of course, a lot like Justin Verlander. We've talked about that now. Mix up his pitches. Not quite the same stuff. But the trick for him is commanding, he says, all parts of the strike zone as much as possible. Uses many different looks and velocities, and that way maybe he can maximize his effectiveness. Work in, work away, elevate. Throw something down in the dirt. Rajai Davis singled his first time. Are there guys that are better at using all four quadrants than other guys?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it takes some guts to throw a fastball up at the top of the strike zone at 87 or 88 miles an hour. But if you successfully set it up by going down low and away, then maybe coming up and in, then down and in, then up and away, you can get away with it.
Davis spanks that down the left field line, and he'll take the turning head for second. Now dies there off the carom, and Rajai Davis is in at second with his 16th double. He has really been an effective pickup for the Tigers.
He's caught that changeup right off the end of the bat. But once again, strong enough to muscle it out into left field. He muscled one into center field in his first at bat. This one got out there and rattled around on that bullpen fence. Davis briefly had thoughts about going for third, but with 2 outs in the inning, he decided just to drop anchor out there and let his pitcher swing away again.
Verlander last time sent Mark Trumbo back to the warning track in left. He's got a couple of hits this year. So even their pitchers are hitting these days. Tigers leading the American League in hitting, a .270 team batting average. And you've got Victor Martinez and Miguel Cabrera, both in the top 8 in the AL in hitting. And they can wear you out, especially left-hand pitching. They are very, very right-hand heavy.
You got Rajai Davis hitting .292 in the 8th spot in the lineup.
101. He's blocked by Miguel Montero back there. Got young guys, got veterans, got guys in their primes, a big payroll and a big budget. Martinez's contract is up. They're not sure if he'll be back next year. Nuno goes top shelf and snags that one. Little lollipop over to first, but Goldie has that under control, and they strand Davis. Bottom 4 coming up. D-backs down 3-zip. On Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you in part by your local Lexus dealers and by Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. The great Sean Payton, Coach Payton up there at the D-backs Baseball Academy here up at the Sandlot at Chase Field. A tremendous program that you can get involved in. Learn all about it at dbacks.com/ Academy. Set for the bottom of the fourth now. It'll be Aaron Hill, Paul Goldschmidt, and Miguel Montero, 2, 3, and 4 against Justin Verlander.
Before we get started here in the bottom half of the fourth, let's take a look at our Valley Honda keys to the game. No nostalgia. The skipper and the bench coach for the Diamondbacks have strong ties to this Tiger organization, but not for the next 3 days. And for the Diamondbacks offense, face the pitcher, not the reputation. We've documented that Justin Verlander's not the same guy that we've seen over the last 5 or 6 years. So face what you see, not what he's done in the past.
Well, so far he's looked like the guy that won the Cy Young and the MVP in the same season. Only one base runner, a walk to Didi Gregorius. And boy, the '84 Tigers, one of the great teams of all time.
I'm telling you, again, two of the more popular players in Tigers history. Alan Trammell, 20 seasons. Playing alongside Lou Whitaker in the middle of the diamond, and Kirk Gibson in that '84 championship season. He was a whirling dervish for the Tigers. He was all over the place.
A big home run off Goose Gossage in the World Series, where Goose Gossage talked Dick Williams into letting him face Kirk Gibson. Williams had hung up the 4 fingers, put him on, and Goose said, "No, I can get this guy. All right, go get him." Bang, gone. Like to have that one back. In fact, Goose Gossage mentioned that in his Hall of Fame induction speech.
Well, you love the attitude. Maybe not so much the results for Goose, but you love the attitude. He wants to face the challenge.
It was funny. He said, "You know what? Looking back, I should have listened and walked Gibson." In fact, they just honored that '84 Tiger team in Detroit a few weeks ago, and Tram was there. Made a big speech. Got a huge ovation. Aaron Hill, leadoff single into center. First hit for the D-backs against Justin Verlander. So Aaron Hill has now hit safely in 6 straight, and 8 of his last 9 coming around here. And a base runner for Goldie. Struck out on 3 pitches in his first at bat. He was 0 for 4 with a pair of strikeouts in yesterday's sweep of the Cubs, but had 4 hits in the series, including 2 homers. Pulls that one down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Aaron Hill heads for third. He'll stop there. Paul Goldschmidt leading the major leagues with 38 doubles. He's now 2 ahead of Miguel Cabrera.
Verlander trying to come down and in on Goldie. He just doesn't let the ball get to the catcher's mitt that time. That's that quick swing we're used to seeing from Paul Goldschmidt. Fans here reacted as the ball briefly got away from Davis out there in left field, but with nobody out in the inning, trailing by 3, you don't want to take any chances getting a guy thrown out. Aaron Hill was already slowing down as he pulled into third base. No chance to send it.
38 doubles now, 2 ahead of Cabrera. And 5 ahead of Lucroy for the National League lead. And he did not go, says Jim Reynolds down at third.
Well, since the early part of June, this is the guy the Diamondbacks won at the plate with runners in scoring position. A .368 batting average since June 9th with runners in scoring position.
He has become a run producer with those 55 RBIs. 2 on, nobody out. Off the glove, it looked like a Verlander. Kinsler has to hustle in. He gets Montero, but Hill scores, and it's 3-1. A rocket back to the line. Now we'll see if Verlander's okay.
It's either buzzard luck for Miggy or good athleticism by Verlander. That ball looked like it was ticketed for center field and a couple of runs driven in, but Verlander knocked it down. Kinsler made a nice barehanded play to throw on to first to get Miggy.
The score that 1-4-3, RBI 56 for Miguel Montero. So Goldie's at third with 1 out for Mark Trumbo. Trumbo struck out looking his first time, 0 for 1. Trumbo likes where he is right now. He says his bats have been competitive, trying to get that timing back. And the timing is what you're concerned about after such a long layoff. But Mark says he has been on the pitches that he needs to be on. Pulled into left for a base hit. Here comes Goldie. RBI single for Trumbo. And it's a 3-2 ball game. Third hit in the inning for the D-backs against Verlander.
Hard hit balls in this inning. I'm not sure what that pitch was, but at 87 miles an hour, Trumbo saw it well. It looked like a slider that just didn't take the break, kind of spun up there on the inner third of the plate, and Mark was all over it. Line drive into left field.
RBI 21 for Trumbo.
Well, you hear it all the time when you face the good pitchers in the game. You have to take advantage of every mistake they make in a ball game because they don't make many, and that was the case right there. Mark Trumbo took a hanging slider and banged it into left field for an RBI base hit.
Gerardo Parra. Parra 0 for 4 yesterday against the Cubs. That snapped a 3-game hit streak and a 3-game RBI streak for Gerardo, who's at 251. And Parra in right field tonight. The outfield turning into a bit more of a carousel lately. And he likely won't be seeing Cody Ross for a while. Kirk Gibson said today an MRI on Cody's calf didn't look good, so he is likely headed for the DL. Possibly as soon as tomorrow. Cody could be available tonight to pinch hit, but likely they would have to pinch run for him should he reach base. And the calf has turned into a real issue. One ball and one strike to Gerardo Parra. One and two.
And not only the calf injury by Cody Ross, but if he were to pinch hit in this game and get on base and you wanted to pinch run for him, Ender Inciarte would be the most logical guy on the bench, but he's nursing a sore foot himself. Fouled a ball off his foot last night. Not sure how close to 100% he is right now.
Remember, he took a long time to walk that off. Mark Trumbo takes off with a pitch. Parra fouls it away. Mark Trumbo's been a bit of a base runner since he's been back.
What they did for his rehab, but he's feeling frisky out there on the bases since coming back off the disabled list.
Trumbo looking good out there, running well. It's a very encouraging sign. So still 1 and 2 on Parra. Trumbo holds. That one is up and in. 2 and 2.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Dave McKay down there at first. Parra strikes out on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. 2 down. It's got to be tough knowing that Verlander still has 95, 97 in his back pocket, but you know he's throwing more off-speed stuff and more breaking stuff.
You almost have to give him one or the other. You really can't go to the plate and look for off-speed stuff, whether it be the curve, the slider, the changeup, and still expect to be on a fastball. Most hitters will tell you they look fastball, look for the fastest pitch the other guy throws, and then make an adjustment off of that.
Martin Prado flying out to right his first time. Prado 0 for 7 over the weekend against the Cubs after opening up that series with a 2 for 4 night. And he's a 271 on the year. Martin Prado, check out the decal on the front of the helmet here. You need to, all that pine tar and everything up there, the logo's coming off. Talk about that on Snake Talk on the radio after the game. 0-1. Verlander now at 50 pitches, 31 for strikes. Boy, he's a mess up there. Look at that.
He really is, yeah.
Just pine tar everywhere.
I like to watch when he taps the bat on his shoulder. You can clearly see the pine tar there on his right shoulder, but when he puts the bat back up, it pulls the shirt up at the same time. We get that shot from center field looking over the pitcher's shoulder. Occasionally you'll see him, the name Prado on the back of his shirt going up and down on the back of his neck as he pumps that bat up and down.
We were talking about that with Parra too lately. Not the mess per se, but the bat waggle up and down.
It looks like Gerardo is a little more active with the bat, and Martin has added that real hard snap of the bat back there on the right shoulder.
That looked like another swing where he's kind of reaching for it or searching for it, feeling for it. Not that normal aggressive hack that we are used to seeing when Martin is at the top of his game.
That particular swing looks like Martin Prado back in his days with the Atlanta Braves playing hit and run. Prado was one of the best in the game at hitting behind the runner at first base. Bobby Cox used to use him as a hit and run guy all the time.
There's this one down the right field line, but it drifts into the seats and out of play.
Well, obviously, when you're playing hit and run, your job as a batter is to try to protect that runner. Ideally, you hit a ball through the hole in the right side of the infield. At least hit the ball on the ground somewhere, and Martin could do that almost on command. And occasionally that looks like the swing he's taking now in non-hit and run situations.
He has admitted to thinking a little too mechanically up there. Worried about his front side and his leg and his hands and everything instead of just swinging. Laces that down the left field line and just misses.
That was a better swing that time.
That's what you're looking for. How much of that has to do with where the pitch is?
Well, a lot of it has to do with where the pitch is, but I mean, you can see he gets the bat head out in front that time. He drove the bat through the hitting zone, hooked it down that line, just foul. That was a swing designed to do some damage right there, not just put the ball in play.
When he is in attack mode, he is really, really good. It's hard to attack him. You're down 0-2 against Justin Verlander. Prado playing nearly every day these days. It's turned into a 20-plus pitch inning for Verlander. And that doesn't figure to change given the news on Eric Chavez. Kirk Gibson said this weekend that Chavez's knee situation just is not improving, and there's a chance that Eric's season is already over. He might not be back this year. 1-2 on Prado. And again, goes down and chops that one foul.
Yeah, with 2 strikes, you do what you have to do, especially against a guy like Verlander with 4 quality pitches at his disposal. Occasionally, you're going to have to take a funny-looking defensive swing in a 2-strike count just to stay alive in the at-bat.
You can kind of see a little, if you had a little thought balloon over Verlander's head, it would be, boy, this guy's a pain in the neck. Oh, I got to throw to get him out. He's fouled pitches down the right field line. He's pulled balls foul down the left field line. One more time. Miguel Montero talked about that. He said when Prado was on the Braves and Miggy was back there catching, he would think, boy, well, you know, what do I got to call here that'll get this guy out? Because everything I call, he finds a way to foul off or it's a base hit.
Yeah, just put it in play. That's what you feel like saying as a catcher or a pitcher when a guy's up there fouling off some really nasty deliveries. Just put it in play, for crying out loud.
I ain't going to throw nothing else.
Nothing else but fastballs.
Don Robinson, 1-2. Cranking up Verlander's pitch count. Eighth pitch of the at-bat coming up. Jeff Jones, the pitching coach. Brad Ausmus, the manager. This is a nice little big league confrontation right here. This has turned into excellent television.
Might as well go to a full count here after a couple more foul balls.
Left field, Davis. It drops in front and he kicks it into center. Trumbo goes to third and Prado is in at second. Well, that was one heck of a showdown and advantage Prado.
Something came flying off of the bat here as Martin Prado made contact. You saw it flying over toward the third base dugout. Not sure if that was his thumb guard or a piece of the bat. Looked like it might have been a piece of the bat. He read it off there.
He scored a double, even though unless Davis kicks it into center, he's likely still at first. But it's up there as a double for the moment.
Good for Martin. I'm not sure I agree with that particular call, but good for Martin.
So don't write that one in ink just yet. In any case, it's second and third, 2 outs for Didi Gregorius. And Verlander, who had not given up a hit through 3, has worked a marathon fourth, and they'll walk Gregorius with Nuno, the pitcher, on deck and first base open. This is something that Brad Ausmus has, an American League manager, a luxury he doesn't get too often. He's walked the 8 guy and worked to the pitcher with the bases loaded in 2 outs. Let's do that.
It's funny though, the Diamondbacks and the Tigers have exactly the same number of intentional walks on the season. Each coming into play tonight with 20 intentional walks.
Well, Didi walked unintentionally his first time up. He's on base for the second time tonight, and Verlander working on nearly a 30-pitch inning here. Diamondbacks with 2 runs in the inning. And they have the bases loaded, 2 outs. Mark Trumbo is at third. Martin Prado at second. Didi Gregorius at first. 2 outs. Vidal Nuno, the pitcher. Oh, that would have been nice.
I was just thinking to myself, it's very rare that you have a pitcher at the plate saying this is a very key at bat in the ballgame. If Nuno can find a way to get on base here, whether it's a base hit, draw a walk, hit into an air, do something and roll back around to the top of the order where you've got some guys swinging hot bats, Diamondbacks could possibly blow this wide open if Nuno can figure out a way to get on base.
Just chop one through the infield somehow here. He's looked, and we've noticed and mentioned, in fact, he's looked to be a very good bunter and handle himself well up there in those situations. And he's got the Goldie ear going right here with the batting helmet.
That's a good sign.
Now Holiday and Verlander are getting a little mixed up here. This is the backup catcher, keep in mind. Brian Holiday, just his 23rd start behind the plate for the Tigers this year. Alex Avila getting the night off. Oh, 0-1 to Nuno. Second base, right to Kinsley. And the Diamondbacks leave him loaded. But they get 2. Aaron Hill, Paul Goldschmidt, Mark Trumbo, all with base hits against Verlander. Diamondbacks right back in it. It's a 1-run ball game. Fifth inning here at Chase Field. Good ball game for you. Tigers and Diamondbacks. Detroit has a 3-2 lead. Diamondbacks with 2 in the fourth against Verlander. And now Vidal Nuno back out there, and he'll work to the top of the order. Austin Jackson. Jackson, Kinsler, Cabrera. Some work to do here in the Tiger fifth. Jackson homered in his last at bat. He's 1 for 2. You see the 265 average for Jackson, and he showed in his last at bat. He's been red hot lately. Counting tonight, 17 hits in his last 10 games. 70 pitches now for Vidal Nuno, 47 for strikes. And the ground is short. Didi Gregorius scoops it up and throws it out.
Second baseman
Ian Kinsler 0 for 2 so far. Kinsler has been very good with the Tigers. In fact, one Detroit columnist gave Kinsler a grade of A+ for the first half of the year. Said he was their first half MVP because of what he has meant at second base and at the plate. Solid in every way, defensively and offensively. Center, a 1-out single for Kinsler.
Well, what a drastic change from Kinsler, going from Arlington, Texas, where it's not unusual to have 100-degree days with 98% humidity.
In January.
Yeah. Go to Detroit, where they played a lot of their games in April in the snow.
And he's wearing number 3, Ian Kinsler. There's a little bit of controversy there when he first arrived, because that was, of course, Alan Trammell's number. And there are many who believe Alan Trammell should be in the Hall of Fame and that number should be retired. But it's on Ian Kinsler's back. Tram said he had absolutely no issue with it whatsoever. Kinsler down there at first with another guy that might wind up in Cooperstown one day, Omar Vizquel. One of the great defensive shortstops of all time, the Tigers' first base coach. 0-1 to Cabrera. Center field, David Peralta. Kinsler bluffs a tag to second, and it's a good thing because the Diamondbacks were ready. So Cabrera 1 for 3. That's 2 down here in the fifth.
First baseman Victor Martinez.
That's a heads-up play by Kinsler, play I really like. I mean, how often do you see a major league outfielder camped underneath the fly ball and drop? I mean, it happens once or twice a year, and it makes the blooper reels. Why go halfway just to watch a guy make a routine catch? Go back and tag up. Maybe the outfielder forgets how many outs there are. Maybe his throw back to the infield's offline, and you can advance 90 feet.
Especially considering you've got a guy out there who's got about 6 weeks in the big leagues and is in center field for only the 9th time ever. Victor Martinez 0 for 1. He walked and scored in the second. Came in on the Torrey Hunter home run. Tigers were up 3-0. Hunter a 2-run shot in the second. Jackson a solo shot in the third. D-backs answered with 2 in the bottom of the fourth. RBIs by Montero and Trumbo. Victor Martinez, the kind of offensive player that often gets overlooked. You look at the numbers and you see that, well, this guy's just one of the best hitters in the game, period.
I think a lot of people, I was surprised to find out, people that don't follow the Tigers would be surprised to know that in the last calendar year, he has the highest batting average in the major leagues. Go back to last July 27th, Victor Martinez is hitting .340. better than Robinson Cano, Andrew McCutchen, Adrian Beltre, Troy Tulowitzki.
Max Scherzer, who watches Martinez hit all the time, his Tigers teammate, says that when Martinez is up there, it looks like he's trying to pick a fight with a pitcher in every at bat.
It's a great way to put it. Right at you, just a little short. We're getting closer.
I only needed about another 3 or 4 feet. But Martinez is a guy, absolutely no fear of hitting with 2 strikes. Hits well from both sides of the plate, a switch hitter. And he just finds ways to string out long at bats and then get the best out of it nearly every time. And he's a guy that DHs for Detroit most of the time after coming up as a catcher in Cleveland. And at the beginning of his career, he's 36. He'll be 36 at the end of the season. He'll also be a free agent, so they're not sure where Victor Martinez will end up. But if he finishes with these kinds of numbers, he'll have some options, that's for sure. His son is legendary. Victor Martinez's son. He's just a little kid, a little tyke. I don't know exactly how old he is, but he puts on clinics and batting practice.
Really?
He hits like a major. He's got to be, I don't know, 3rd, 4th grade, something like that. But he rakes this kid.
Well, there was another Tiger that used to bring his kid out to Old Tiger Stadium and let him take BP. Cecil Fielder, when he played with the Tigers, used to bring his young son Prince out to the ballpark, and he would put on a show.
Prince, I remember reading that he would hit home runs out of Tiger Stadium as a 10, 11, 12-year-old.
Yeah.
And Victor has a young son that looks like he will be a very, very good hitter. And there's another one of these kids that just kind of, it seems, grows up around it right from the start. Kinsler running on the pitch. That one is pulled foul. And Delgado warming up for the Diamondbacks, and the Sanderson-Ford bullpen hadn't seen Randall pitch in a while. With Nuno now with 80 pitches, 55 for strikes, and trying to get out of this 5th. Another long at bat by Victor Martinez ends up in another base hit.
Dale Swain was the hitting coach of the Milwaukee Brewers. He used to talk about hitters who stick their nose in the strike zone. Victor Martinez fits that description. Obviously, he doesn't stick his nose in the strike zone, but his head stays right on the ball until it gets into the hitting zone. Keeps everything behind the ball, drives it to the opposite field, drives it to his pull field. Fighting, battling that pitcher.
And Brad Ausmus has said he has never really seen a hitter like Victor Martinez. Here comes Kirk Gibson. There's Randall Delgado a moment ago. And this looks like it will be it for Vidal Nuno. Nuno goes 4 2/3. He leaves trailing 3-2, responsible for 2 base runners. Randall Delgado coming in. We're back after this. parachute pants, fanny packs, all those things have one thing in common. You guessed it. It's going to be 80s night, Friday, August 8th. Diamondbacks and Rockies come early. Watch Valley favorite Rock Lobster perform on the Gila River Casino's Plaza. And then after the game, enjoy Friday night fireworks at the Classic 80s Hits. Purchase a special 80s night ticket package, and you will get a rad pair of D-backs Zubaz pants.
Nice.
You'll only get the pants by purchasing the 80s night ticket package. Don't forget. Got to get the package to get the pants. So log on dbacks.com/events. Vidal Nuno, 3 runs on 7 hits and 4 2/3. He leaves trailing 3-2, responsible for Kinsler at second and Martinez at first. And Randall Delgado on to face the veteran Torrey Hunter. Hunter a 2-run homer back in the second. He's 1 for 2. Randall Delgado has been pretty effective out of the bullpen, racking up the strikeouts. As Nuno just couldn't quite get through 5. And I think a lot of that had to do with the Victor Martinez at bat. That kind of, it was a lot like the Prado at bat in the previous half inning. Martinez just kind of wore him out.
And that's when a pitcher is at his most vulnerable. You get a little fatigued out there on the mound, especially a guy that really has to work the corners of the plate and change speeds. That's when you're more likely to make a mistake. So Gibby didn't take any chances tonight.
Elevated, Hunter chased, but it's fouled off. Yeah, that seemed like the right time. He was right on the cusp of kind of falling off on the wrong side of things. Trying to get that final out and get through this 5th.
Yeah, Hunter hit the 2-run homer back in the second inning and hit a hard ground ball down to Martin Prado to end the 3rd. Didn't want to give him another look at Nuno.
And Delgado comes in, strikes out Hunter, and puts out the fire. Home half of the 5th going up. It's still 3-2 Detroit.
The 16 interactive kiosks right here at Chase Field during any Diamondbacks regular season home game.
Bottom 5, Justin Verlander back out there to face the Diamondbacks top of the order. Peralta, Hill, Goldschmidt. D-backs have been out hit by the Tigers 7-4, but trail it only 3-2 after getting 2 in the bottom of the 4th. There's a strike, 0-1. Peralta 0 for 2 so far. His first look as the D-backs leadoff hitter. David Peralta's family here visiting from Venezuela, including his wife and his parents. They're on the far left of your picture there, the Diamondback black shirts. And David was on our Diamond Talk radio show last night, or as the kids call it, Snake Talk. which is on after every home game, by the way. He was our guest, and he told us that it was his father that urged him not to give up on baseball when he went home to Venezuela. Cut by the Cardinals as a 21-year-old pitcher with a bad shoulder, and he was out of affiliated baseball for 4 years. He was hurt and released, didn't play, but turned himself into a hitter, and his family had a big part of that. As they kind of, there's his dad David right there, and mom Selena. They really helped get him back on track and said, don't give up on baseball. And boy, has it ever worked out. Bounced in a hole at second. Kinsler spins and throws. What a play. Ian Kinsler.
Well, we have a great vantage point for that play. I didn't think there was any way Kinsler was going to get to that ball. It looked like it was through into right field. The Peraltas thought the same thing I did. Oh, Kinsler fielded that ball behind him out there in shallow right field. Great body control and balance to spin around and throw that ball right on target for the out.
Four-time American League All-Star, including last season with the Rangers. What a play. Former ASU Sun Devil before he transferred to Missouri. Ran into a little competition there. There was a guy named Pedroia on the same team, and Kinsler figured, I better go play somewhere else. Aaron Hill singled and scored his last time up, 1 for 2. Two and one. Aaron Hill now with 45 RBIs on the year, only one behind Chase Utley for the league lead among second basemen. And with his single in the fourth, he's now hit in 6 straight. He's ahead 3-1. Shakeoffs here from Verlander.
It looked like Holiday behind the plate wanted to throw a straight changeup on the 3-1 count. Verlander was ready to throw a fastball, I believe. Now he does come back with a changeup. Hey, Aaron Hill looks like he's seeing the ball pretty well against Verlander tonight.
What leads you to say that?
Well, he's taken some pitches that normally guys would flail at. He took a changeup down in the zone that looked like it was going to be a knee-high strike on the inside part of the plate. Saw it all the way into the hitting zone. Never pulled the trigger. Sometimes you can tell a lot just by the way a guy takes certain pitches. Greg Maddux used to talk about that all the time. He used to get frustrated if he threw a pitch that he thought a guy should either check swing or put into play weakly, and the guy would just take it. And that would upset Maddux. I remember him yelling and screaming on the mound sometimes after a ball 2 in the count. What's going on? Well, I thought the guy should have swung at that pitch.
3-2. Easy fly ball to left for Rajay Davis.
Hey fans, when the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. The day after every Diamondbacks win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code D-backs50 at papajohns.com.
Now that wasn't the result that Aaron Hill hoped for, but it was a 3-2 pitch. Was that the kind of at bat where a player goes, well, I might have been 0 for 4 or whatever, but I feel like I had good at bat? That seemed like one of those at bats.
And that happens a lot more than you would realize over the course of a long season. Ron Santo used to call them comfortable callers. You see the ball well, you feel like you swung at a good pitch, hit it hard right at a defender, you end up the night 0 for 4, 0 for 5, but you feel like you had 4 or 5 good at bats in the game.
1-1 to Goldie, who doubled and scored his last time up. Austin Jackson in center is shaded over near the pool. Big gap in left center field for Goldie. I guess when teams look at the way that Paul Goldschmidt goes the other way, this is the way to play him.
Well, especially if you have a pitcher on the mound that can hit his spots. And I would imagine that at some point in the advance meeting for the Tigers, they said if you have to pitch to Goldie, stay away from him. And if you stay away from Goldie, he's probably going to hit it to the opposite field. So that's why they defend him like this.
Swing and a miss. And Goldie strikes out for the second time tonight. A 1-2-3 fifth for Verlander. D-backs trail at 3-2.
Of the 6th as the Diamondbacks with interleague play here in the month of July, and some injuries to update you on. Saw A.J. Pollock before today's game, and we all know how well A.J. Pollock was doing before he went out with that hand injury, the broken hand. There's a look at Chris Owings, who's been shut down, still trying to get the soreness out of that shoulder. But guys, the good news is that Cliff Pennington took batting practice out here on the field earlier. A.J. Pollock told me it was the first time taking BP in the cage today, and he's progressing very well. In fact, he's looking forward to hitting off of Daniel Hudson next week, and then hopefully some simulated games for him coming up next. I saw his hand. It's still a little bit swollen, but it's healed, guys. Now it's just a point of him getting back into baseball activities.
Well, it's welcome news, certainly, Jody. Guys coming the other way from injuries, which is something new this year. I saw another guy that was down there hitting today was Jordan Pacheco, which was a very good sign. Eugenio Suarez, the shortstop, 0 for 2. Randall Delgado struck out Torrey Hunter to strand 2 and close out the 5th, and now Delgado out there to start the 6th in relief of Vidal Nuno, who went 4 2/3.
Yeah, Pacheco's been playing with the Diamondbacks rookie league team. 1 for 3 yesterday with an RBI.
Little nubber near first base. And Randall flips to Goldie for the first out. I'm really looking forward to getting to see Jordan Pacheco play a bit. I hope he can come back soon and be activated and get in there, get some at bats, because I've talked about this a number of times. He's a guy we both like when he was with the Rockies.
Oh, he killed us with the Rockies. Came up with some big base hits. Played a little first base in relief of Todd Helton from time to time. We saw him behind the plate on several occasions. Very versatile guy.
Ryan Holiday, the catcher, 0 for 2. D-backs tonight looking for a 5th consecutive win here at home. They came back to beat the Cubs in all 3 games this weekend, get the 3-game sweep, and now they're attempting to make it 4 for 4 in the comeback department. Down 3-0. It's now a 3-2 ball game. But they've got their work cut out for them in these Tigers, who have the best road record in baseball at 28-16. Detroit has won 11 of its last 14 road games, and they are averaging about 6 runs per game during that stretch, so they can put up some numbers. Yanked down the left field line and fouled.
Good for Brad Ausmus and the Tigers that they're so good on the road, because they're only 1 game over 500 at home. That's really tough to figure.
He said they would wear their gray uniforms at home if Major League Baseball would let them. Anything down there to get that figured out. They're opening up a 7-game road trip tonight. They'll play 3 here against the D-backs, and then it's off to Anaheim for 4 against the Angels. A ball and 2 strikes to Brian Holiday. Tigers 54-41 on the year. They lead the American League Central by 5.5 games over Terry Francona's the Cleveland Indians. They are 7 up on Kansas City. And of course, the Diamondbacks this year playing the American League Central. Broken bat, that's foul. We don't go to Detroit. We don't go to Kansas City. But we do go to Cleveland later this year. We'll go to Minnesota later this year, where they just had the All-Star game. We've already been to Chicago twice, once to play the Cubs and once the White Sox. There's the AL Central.
I mentioned it earlier. The Tigers have the biggest division lead in baseball going into play today. How about this? All 3 National League divisions had 2 teams tied for the lead. Washington and Atlanta in the East, Milwaukee and St. Louis in the Central, and the Giants and the Dodgers in the National League West.
Parody. Ball strike 3. Second strikeout for Randall Delgado. Holiday K's for the 2nd time tonight. I've gotten a break here from Brian Knight, the plate umpire.
Miggy slides onto that inside corner. Pitch well off the plate inside. Must have been the way Miggy caught it. Bought that 3rd strike.
Well, you know, it's funny, his pitch framing numbers, if you look at the defensive metrics, and a lot of those are subjective, so don't get too worked up about it, but his pitch framing has been outstanding this year. One of the best in baseball. And we know about how much he's improved in throwing out attempted base stealers. He's been terrific lately. Rajai Davis, a single and a double, 2 for 2.
You know, I look at Rajai Davis and I can't help but draw a comparison to our guest analyst later tonight, Junior Spivey.
Junior was on the pregame show. He'll be in here in the 7th inning.
Junior liked to wear his pants up to the knee level like that. Very short, compact, strong young man. A little physical resemblance in the body to Rajai Davis.
Rajai Davis has been around. He came up with the Pirates 9 years ago. He's made stops in Pittsburgh, San Francisco. He's played for Oakland, Toronto, and now Detroit.
Junior might actually be bigger and stronger than Rajai Davis still.
Junior is in excellent shape.
Oh, he sure is.
Hey, what are you telling us about his diet? His wife's got him on a diet, right?
Yeah. No red meat, no chicken. They eat a lot of fish, a lot of veggies.
And Junior will be our guest analyst. He was already a star on the pregame show. He'll be here in the 7th inning and then on Diamondbacks Live after the ball game. Look, he just noticed himself on TV. Sit up straight.
Well, young man, he had a zest for the game, boy. You didn't have to worry whether he was ready to play on a given night. He was always ready to play.
Now looking good in the Sedona red. Well, these Tigers, they'll make you throw some pitches. This is a guy you want to keep off the bases. Rajai Davis. He's got 24 this year. Stole 50 in Oakland in 2010. And he's got 3 other seasons with at least 40 steals. A 38th round pick by the Pirates back in 01. I'd say that worked out pretty well.
Not as easy to steal bases when you're hitting in the 8th spot in a National League ballpark with the pitcher up behind you. It'll be interesting to see if Brad Ausmus turns him loose should he get on base in this situation.
Get him up there on first, have him stand there and get Verlander's at bat over with. And we'll find out exactly what will happen as Davis is on base for the 3rd time in 3 plate appearances. First walk issued by Delgado.
Pitcher Justin Verlander.
There's another one of those stats that will surprise a lot of people. I think, surprised me once again. Most stolen bases since the beginning of the 09 season. Michael Bourne at the top of the list with 246. Rajai Davis 240. Second in the majors.
But what happens as the manager if he gets thrown out trying to steal and then Verlander has to lead off the next inning?
Well, that's your fault for not giving him the red light. I mean, you've got to really trust that a guy is going to get a good jump and outrun that throw to second base to send him with the pitcher at the plate. All you want to do is clear this pitcher spot right now, start over fresh in the top half of the 7th inning. But if you believe that he can get the kind of jump necessary to steal a base, yeah, certainly that's advantageous to have a guy in scoring position with 2 outs.
Well, Davis was running a lot more when he was in the leadoff spot for the Tigers earlier this year when Austin Jackson was down in the order. Lower in the order now, Davis has been much more of a run producer. 1-1. Randall's got some interesting kicks on tonight.
I noticed that, yeah. High tops.
Got the Joe Willie Namath white shoes on the heels.
He may have gotten the benefit of the doubt on strike 3 to Holiday, but he has not gotten anything in this at bat to Verlander. A couple of pitches that looked either in or very near the strike zone, and home plate umpire Brian Knight didn't even wink at him.
I guess Verlander's used to getting the calls, but not just on the mound, not at the plate. Chops one to third. Prado. D-backs trail it 3-2 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Montero, Trumbo, Parra coming up. Arizona is brought to you in part by Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. And by Cox Communications. Bundle and save with Cox. Oh, one of my favorite stops here at Chase Field. Wetzel's Pretzels with the cinnamon and the whole thing. Oh, man. Are they good. And the beauty of that is they're right under our broadcast booth. So the smell in the early afternoon as the ballpark is just starting to come to life kind of rises up here. And it smells like those delicious Wetzel's Pretzels.
Kind of a multi-purpose food here at the ballpark. You can eat them for breakfast, a nice dessert after lunch or dinner.
Yeah, my wife has them for dinner about 3 times a week. Chevron upcoming matchup. Back against these Tigers tomorrow night for you here on Fox Sports Arizona. Rick Porcello with a very good record of 12-5 against Chase Anderson. Chase has not pitched for a while. He started with Skip the last time to give him more rest. Got to cut down on those innings because he's coming up on the limit trying to find a way to extend his season a bit.
That's one of the luxuries you have at the All-Star break. Rearrange your rotation, look where your off days fall early in the second half of the season. And for a guy like Chase Anderson, who the Diamondbacks are looking to limit a little bit in the second half, an opportunity to set the rotation the way the Diamondbacks want and look for some opportunities to maybe give Chase an extra day or two between starts.
Not worried about any present health issues with Chase Anderson. It's actually what they're trying to avoid. With AAA Reno last year, he only threw 88 innings because he spent half the year in the bullpen. And so you can't increase that workload from year to year by more than 30 or 40 innings or so. Miguel Montero, an RBI ground out his last time up. He had a rocket back to the mound that Verlander caught a bit on the glove and picked it up and threw him out. But he had scored one run, probably robbed Miggy of another RBI. As Goldie had a hold up on third, but he later came in and a Mark Trumbo single. Trumbo's on deck. Montero ahead 3-1. '91 on that.
And there was a time Verlander, this has been 3 or 4 years ago when he was still rushing it up there, 99 and 100 consistently. He talked about backing off earlier in the game and saving his big heater for later in the ball game.
And strikes out Miguel Montero to lead off the sixth. That's 5 strikeouts now for Verlander. He just saw how effective he was there, 91 and then 93-ish.
And the location on that 93 inside corner right below the hands of Miguel Montero, tough to catch up to in a 2-strike count.
Well, when Justin Verlander was at his Justin Verlandiest, that was 3 years ago. And what a year it was, 24-5 with a 2.40 ERA. As he throws strike one to Trumbo, led the American League in both wins and ERA, but also led the league in innings. He threw 251 innings that year. And as Bob mentioned, maybe that type of workload might explain Verlander's somewhat mediocre season this year at the age of 31. He has pitched at least 200 innings every season for 7 straight years, and the totals in some of those years are startling. Creeping up on 300 starts in the big leagues.
I saw that last category there, 20 complete games in his career, which brings up today's This Day in Baseball history. In 1976, Tiger pitcher Mark the Bird Fidrych made his 13th start of the season. 12 of those were complete games, including 3 games that went 11 innings.
And the next year he blew out his shoulder.
Yep.
Mark the Bird, 1976, the pride of Western Massachusetts, where he later retired and became a pig farmer. And tragically died not too long ago. He was something else. He might have been the, before Fernando, he was kind of pre-Fernando, that rookie sensation that just captures the attention of baseball fans all over the country, no matter what team you are rooting for, where you live. You wanted to see that guy pitch. Valenzuela was like that in '81, and Fidrych in '76 for the Tigers. High and deep to the right field corner, playable for the Hunter through that.
Well, not only because Fidrych was a really good pitcher, but he had some personality. He used to get down on his hands and knees to manicure the dirt on the mound and talk to the baseball, and had a big wild fro underneath his hat. He was quite the character in a time when baseball was pretty staid, very quiet. Everybody just kind of minded their own business and did their own thing, very businesslike. And then here comes this wild guy with the wild hair talking to the baseball. He was quite a character.
There's still a great game that Mark Fidrych pitched on Monday Night Baseball. Remember Monday Night Baseball back in ABC back in the day? That you can watch on YouTube or on the internet somewhere, where Fidrych pitched on a Monday night against the Yankees and was sensational. So if you want to see Mark Fidrych, dial that up and have a look. The Bird. Remember he was on that famous Sports Illustrated cover with Big Bird.
With Big Bird,
from Sesame Street.
Remember that.
What a story that was. 1-0 on Gerardo Parra. Of course, the Tigers throughout their years have always had that ace guy, you know, Denny McLain and Mickey Lolich and Mark Fidrich, and then they had Jack Morris and those guys. Now they have Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander winning Cy Youngs. Gerardo Parra gets a hold of one, drives it to right field, and that ball is gone, a home run. Gerardo Parra, his 6th of the year. And it's been a while for Parra. That's his first home run since May 21st at St. Louis, 48 games ago.
Pitch, it appeared to be down and in, just dropped the head of the bat on it. Probably wasn't even in the strike zone, but got the barrel of the bat on it and rode it out of here to right field to tie it up.
The 13th home run given up this year by Justin Verlander. And just over 130 innings, and Gerardo Parra, for the first time in nearly 50 games, has taken it out of here, and we're tied at 3. And boy, that has got to feel good for G. He has really been grinding lately. Martin Prado a double his last time up, 1 for 2. That gets Fidel Nuno off the hook. Verlander creeping up on 100 pitches here in the 6th. I still think that Nuno is going to prove to be a pretty good pickup, at least through the rest of this year. He's going to give you some innings. I think it's going to be better in this ballpark and in this division than it was certainly pitching in the AL East at Yankee Stadium. Very high in the air, left center field. Davis is over there. And that's the inning. But Gerardo Parra, his 6th of the year, his first home run since May 21st. And we're tied at Chase.
It's strange coming into the park and coming to this side of the clubhouse. I've never done that before, so it's fun to be back. Ever since I've gotten here to Detroit, I've absolutely loved it here. And when you got guys with the talent in this clubhouse, it's so much fun. I mean, playing with Miggy and Victor and all these guys, they're a blast to play with.
Well, now entrenched with the Detroit Tigers, Max Scherzer, last year's Cy Young Award winner, 21 wins, but made 37 starts with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Of course, drafted by the Diamondbacks, 11th pick overall in the 06 draft. Guys, he's just enjoying being back here. As he mentioned, he lives here in the offseason, so he gets to sleep in his own bed. And Kirk Gibson was the bench coach here under Bob Melvin when Max made his debut. He said he's really one of the first pitchers to really dive into analytics that he had encountered, and he was always impressed by that. And, of course, the success couldn't have been predicted at this level, but he said he always felt like Max would be extremely successful.
And here's another guy that was involved in that same trade, Jody. It's Austin Jackson who leads off the 7th against Randall Delgado. That was that big 3-team deal right before the 2010 season. Yankees, Tigers, and Diamondbacks. Now Ian Kennedy, who was in that trade and went from the Yankees to Arizona. Of course, now a Padre, his name is out there. Trade deadline coming up. Padres fire sale is in progress. Houston Street now in Anaheim. I got a bunch of prospects in return for him. Well hit center field. Peralta's first big test as a center fielder. It kicks away and rolls near the pool, and Jackson's in at second. Well, Peralta so far has appeared to be a more effective defender in a corner outfield spot, and I think we just saw why.
Yeah, this one not an easy play either, slicing off the bat of the right-handed hitter and dying as it got out there in center field. Yeah, David doesn't always take the most direct line to the ball. Nice effort there to try to knock it down, keep it from going all the way to the wall, but Jackson ended up at second nonetheless.
He's got a home run and now a double. He's 2 for 4, and here's Ian Kinsler. Dave Clark coaching at third for the Tigers. Almost the same spot, headed near the pool. Peralta way over there, and he tracks it down. Jackson will tag and head for third. David Peralta, when he gets a full head of steam, runs like a freight train, and he almost ran through the wall to get that one.
He took a good line to that one, got a real good read off the bat of Ian Kinsler and ran right to the spot. Similar to the last ball, this one hit a little higher, a little bit deeper, and David runs it down right on the edge of the warning track. But deep enough in right center field for Austin Jackson to tag up and advance on to third base.
Even in his years in independent ball and the affiliated minors, Peralta barely ever saw center field, only 8 games out there. But this is his 9th start this year in center. He's played about 70 innings out there. Made a nice play on that one. But now the question is how to keep this game tied with Jackson at third, 1 out, and Miguel Cabrera up. Cabrera so far has a single in the 30s, 1 for 3. Diamondbacks infield creeping in here near the edge of the grass.
That'll get your heart rate up there a little bit with Miguel Cabrera at the plate.
You think?
Ooh.
1-1. Mentioned that Cabrera said he still doesn't feel great after that sports hernia surgery in October. Still bothers him. He says there are times when the muscles are tightening, muscles not functioning properly. Not using his bottom half, his feet, his waist area as much as he'd like to. But still gives this one a ride to center. Peralta. It's off the terrace out there. Cabrera heads for second. Jackson scores. And they have the out at second. But the Tigers take the 4-3 lead. Really not running at all well with that bad lower half, but he makes it 4-3 Detroit.
Cabrera thought that ball was out of the ballpark. He squared it up, admired it for a few minutes, and then starts jogging down the first baseline. It hit well below the yellow stripe out there.
Brad Ausmus is going to go out and have a conversation with Manny Gonzalez at second. Cabrera is still on the field.
He immediately started indicating that the ball was out of the ballpark.
Now they rotate over. Gonzalez goes out to cover the fly ball. Fielding Colbreth is the first base umpire, and the crew chief, he made the call down there at second, and now the man known around umpire circles as Cubby will come over here with Gonzalez, and he'll get on the headsets as apparently Brad Ausmus will challenge. Tigers are challenging the out call at second base. Now, any ball hit deep to the outfield, there's an umpire rotation, right? So Colbreth comes over from first and takes care of second, while the second base umpire is out in center field.
It involves a little more effort for that first base umpire to get out there to second base and get in a position where you can see whether or not the tag was applied properly. It looked to me like Aaron Hill got the tag on the shin of Cabrera as he was sliding into second base, but umpires will look at it from every possible angle, slow it down, blow it up if necessary.
That was a line drive to dead center field that hit just a few feet below the yellow line. That was clear. But the call at second, not so much. Fielding Colbreth, the crew chief and first base umpire, who made the call at second. You can see Gonzalez, the second base umpire, going out to signal that's a fair ball, and there's Colbreth sneaking into the picture to make the call at second. If you can definitively tell from that the foot was in there before, because the leg is in front of the glove, it's hard to tell when the tag was applied.
Yeah, and in the days before replay and challenges, if the ball beats the runner, he's going to be called out whether there's a tag applied or not. So this has changed the game a little bit here.
And remember, on managers' challenges this year, we're right about 48% on calls overturned. So from that standpoint, replay has been a big success. Here's another look and get a better idea of when Aaron Hill applies that tag. And remember, you need clear and convincing evidence that the call was incorrect. I'm not sure we have that here. What do you think of the challenge, the use of the challenge?
You mean in this particular situation? Yeah. Well, you're late in the ball game here. There's really no reason to save it if you feel the play was close enough to warrant the challenge. You might as well use it now.
And they're taking a long look, which generally indicates they don't have a great angle and they don't have the clear and convincing evidence that they need. And the umpires on headsets, they are now out of the process. They're simply told yes or no. And the umpires at the Command Center in New York take a look.
It looked to me like the webbing of Aaron Hill's glove hit the left shin of Cabrera right before his foot hit the bag, and that's I think what Fielding Colbreth saw as well, rotating over, and the out call will stand.
Cabrera is out at second. Jackson scores. It's 4-3 Tigers. And there's Brad Ausmus. Call on the field is confirmed. So they did see evidence. If they don't have clear and convincing evidence, they say call stands. But call confirmed mean they saw an angle that showed Aaron Hill applying the tag in time.
And I think that's what Brad Ausmus was asking Fielding Colbreth. Was the call confirmed or does the call stand? He wanted to know whether they had enough evidence or not.
Now we're being told that the replay official giving us the information was completely incorrect and that they were not looking at the play at second base. They were looking at the home run.
Well, that should have been very easy, I think. I don't know. It looked very obvious to me that the ball hit below the yellow stripe.
That was not even close. Part of this system is they're supposed to inform us is exactly what they're looking at, so we can pass that along to you the viewer. But the guy that was giving us the information from MLB was way off there. And so the umpire call that they were looking at was Gonzalez's call on the play that hit the terrace out there, which was a pretty easy call. I don't know why it would take that long to look at that and figure out that it was not a home run. In any case, Cabrera is out at second, and the run scores. And so that's the part of the system that people still don't like completely.
That's just a matter of communication, and that can easily be remedied.
Now let's take a look at the home run play. This is apparently what they were looking at. We were told they were looking at the other thing, but this is actually what was happening. And why it would take 2 or 3 minutes to figure out that was not a home run, I got no idea. Victor Martinez, a ball and 2 strikes. He walked and scored in the second, singled his last time. By the way, the scoring on that is a Cabrera single for the RBI, out 7-4 at second on the put-up.
Kind of lost in the shuffle was a real nice throw by Mark Trumbo, who hustled over there to back up the play as it ricocheted off the landing out there just to the left of straightaway center. Trumbo scooped it up and fired a strike to Aaron Hill for the out.
Well, still some kinks to work out in the system. Slow roller to second, easy play for Aaron Hill. Diamondbacks now trail at 4-3, stretch time here at Chase Field. When we come back, former D-back great Junior Spivey joins us in the booth. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. It's Junior when we come back. Trail the Tigers 4-3. We need a rally here, so who better than Junior Spivey to get things going?
That's who I wanted at the plate. Yeah, absolutely.
Usually worked out pretty well. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
It's great to have you here. What do you think of the Diamondbacks tonight?
Well, they're hanging in there, you know. A couple mistakes, and they're right back in this thing. So they're doing okay. I mean, they're putting together some pretty good at-bats against Verlander. He made a mistake against Parra. 2-0 fastball in, and he did what he had to do with it.
Verlander now at exactly 100 pitches, 58 for strikes as he opens up the 7th. There is some action in the Tigers bullpen as Didi Gregorius leads it off. Didi has walked twice tonight, once intentionally. Pitcher spot is due up next, and Ender Inciarte is in the on-deck circle.
Yeah, Junior, we were talking about Didi Gregorius earlier in the ballgame and how he's changed his approach at the plate. Last year he was a lot more upright. His hands were a lot higher. This year he's a little more crouched, a little more athletic, and he feels like he can see the ball better, wait a little bit longer. Did you change much over the course of your career?
I really didn't. I would make adjustments from pitch to pitch opposed to a bat to a bat. It was from pitch to pitch. Whatever I was feeling, that's kind of what I rolled with, and I pretty much went with the same thing. But my main concern was just getting ready to hit the fastball, being ready to hit the fastball and not missing it. And wouldn't have to worry about all the other stuff they're throwing up there if you're not missing it.
Well, that would really work tonight against a guy like Verlander, and we've talked about him throwing more breaking stuff and off-speed stuff than just 97 all the time.
Well, in hitters' counts, you get to a hitter's count, you're going to basically increase your chance to have success against any pitcher. So you just always want to put yourself in a good position to get a good count and put a good swing on the ball.
Wilden Culbreth says that Gregorius is out at first, and now here's Inciarte.
And with Verlander, he wants to get ahead of you so he can throw all his other stuff. But when his fastball is working and he's locating his fastball, he's that much better. But when he's missing, he's going to make some mistakes, and you have to be able to take advantage of those mistakes.
Yeah, I think that's the key, and you said it earlier. You have to be ready to hit those mistakes because the good ones don't make a lot of mistakes, and when they do, you better be ready to light it up.
Exactly.
Throwing the left-hander, Albuquerque the right-hander. Verlander so far, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts through 6 1/3. And Ender Inciarte will hit for the pitcher. Ender has it in 4 of his last 5 games. Up there at 241 on the year.
You were telling us before the ball game you've seen some of the guys recently. You saw Reggie Sanders, Tony Womack.
It was great to see all those guys. And it's been a while since I've seen them all. It's been a while since I've seen Womack. So Womack is golfing every day. He's doing great, and he's a scratch golfer. So he's doing a lot of talking. I'll tell you that.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Ender took a big time cut at that one.
Yeah, Tony can hit a drive and run down the fairway and be ready to hit his second shot before the ball lands.
Yeah, he was unbelievable. Tony was awesome. Awesome. What a leadoff hitter.
And this is a guy, Ender Inciarte, that's been in that role this year for the D-backs a lot. 19 starts in the leadoff spot.
And that pitch right there, he caught a lot of plate. Jump on that, and if you can get the head out on that pitch, you got to increase your chance for success. Caught a lot of plate right there.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
I believe pinch hitting is the hardest thing to do in baseball.
Especially against this guy.
Exactly.
What makes it so tough?
Well, you're cold, and then you have to get ready, and your mindset. You only get 1 at bat, so you only get 1. You can't wait to make an adjustment for your next at bat. So it's pitch to pitch, and when you get that opportunity to get a pitch to hit, you have to hit it. You have to put it in play hard.
And Inciarte does just that. You saw him swing at that first fastball. We often hear that, hey, pinch hitter, swing at the first good fastball you see. He missed that one, but he got that one right there.
Well, yeah, you go up there with the mentality of getting your 3 swings. You can't go up there just to get 1 swing. You find yourself 0-2 and you only get 1 hack. You got to go up there and get your 3 swings. And that's what you have to do. So that's a great at bat. In 2001, our bench, we had the best bench in baseball. We had some unbelievable professional hitters. And I had the opportunity to learn from those guys.
I think we had 15 pinch hit home runs that year.
Yes, we did.
Had some weapons off the bench.
Miguel Cabrera comes in from 3rd and then calls in Holiday, the catcher, to get involved on this discussion with Inciarte at first and 1 out. And David Peralta coming up. And Bob, you mentioned that Ender had a little bit of a sore foot after fouling that pitch off his foot over the weekend, so we'll see how he does at first base here. He's the tying run. Down the line in left. And slices foul.
This would normally be a situation where Ender would try to pick a pitch. Breaking ball count, off-speed count, try to get a jump over there and get himself into scoring position. But once again, we're not sure about that foot. He was down for a long time last night.
Junior, we've heard everybody chime in on David Peralta, and they all talk about what a natural hitter he looks like, especially for a guy that started out as a pitcher. And when he swings a bat, what do you see?
He looks good. He looks very comfortable up there, strong base, knows what he's doing. Looks like a professional hitter to me.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of the wild swings that you occasionally will see from a young player, making his first rounds in the major league, seeing all these pitchers for the first time. He always looks like he's in control of the at-bat.
And that's one of the hardest things to do is to keep your poise in a bat, a big league at bat. You're playing in front of 30, 40,000 people in a situation like this, in the clutch, down the stretch. You want to get too antsy and too giddy on the fastball, and they flip some off-speed pitches up there, and you can't hold back. So if you can see the ball out of the pitcher's hands, and give yourself a chance to have put together a good at bat.
1-1. 95 foul back, 1-2. David Peralta's parents visiting from Venezuela. First time they've seen him play as a professional was this weekend.
Well, he looks like he has a game plan up there, so looks good.
I think mom and dad are probably more nervous than David is. David has some control of this situation. They have none.
That sounds like the voice of experience.
I'm telling you.
Watching all those Portland Sea Dog games on the computer these days. Comes back with another 95-mile-an-hour fastball, but it's upstairs 2-2 on Peralta. He's got 3 consecutive 2-hit games, but so far he's 0 for 3 tonight. Ciarte holds. Verlander misses. They throw down, and he is out at first, says Fielden Culbreth. Verlander looked like he got his feet tangled up a little bit there as he was coming through on the delivery. And the same thing might have happened to Ender Inciarte. Here comes Gibby. This might fall under the category they got nothing to lose by using the challenge here. So once again, a discussion with Fielden Culbreth Frucci, this time at first base. And it looks like the Diamondbacks will challenge the call.
His right foot kind of got hung up on the dirt there, which may have actually helped him avoid that tag a little bit.
From that angle, it looks like he might be in there safe.
It's going to be a tough call.
What do you think of replay, Junior?
Sometimes.
Would you have liked it as a player?
Yeah, when I'm hitting, for sure. When I'm hitting, for sure. I feel like I was squeezed a lot, you know, especially when you're young, coming up and you have to prove yourself. And sometimes they give pitchers a little more, you know, a little more than when, you know, you typically get, especially young guys. Young guys have to prove themselves. So
we're told that this is the call they're challenging. Can't think of anything else.
Like he got in there on that angle. Like I said, that right foot kind of hit the dirt and stuck, and his right foot bent back underneath, and that gave him the opportunity to get around that tag. It looked like he got his foot on that back corner before Martinez applied the tag.
And Verlander's throwing some warm-up tosses, but he will occasionally stop, turn around, and watch the replay on the DBTV board, and the call is out at first. So Inciarte picked off.
I would like it in the playoff games for sure, especially when games are on the line. Playoff games, I remember in 02 when we were playing against the Cardinals. I hit a ball to Scott Rowland, and they called me out on a ball that I know I beat out. Brindley came out and fought for me, and I was clearly safe, and they called me out on that. And this is the playoffs. And,
yeah. 3-2 to Peralta. He didn't get ejected, did he?
No, he didn't.
Not that night.
And to clarify again, the previous challenge on the ball that Cabrera hit was home run or no home run. It was not the play at second base on which Cabrera was thrown out. So we have clarified that with Major League Baseball. Another 3-2. Ball 4. Verlander.
That's a pretty good at bat right there.
Yeah, 116 pitches.
Good battling at bat that time.
Brad Ausmus on the top step of the dugout looking down into the bullpen. And he will make the move. He wants the right-hander. Aaron Hill coming up. Diamondbacks have the tying run on first now with 2 outs here in the 7th. And that's it for Justin Verlander. Back after this. our special guest analyst. The cavalcade of stars continues. Former D-back Doug Davis will be joining Diamondback Live pre- and post-game shows to break down the ball game for you against the Tigers. You can see that right here tomorrow, beginning at 6 on Fox Sports Arizona. Doug Davis tomorrow. Junior Spivey right now. Al Albuquerque on to replace Justin Verlander. This guy has got an absolute wipeout slider.
And he'll throw it a bunch. 2 out of every 3 pitches he's delivered this year have been sliders.
Verlander on the hook for the tying run at first, and 2 outs here in the 7th. Aaron Hill singled and scored in the 4th. He's 1 for 3. Al Albuquerque, his 47th appearance. And it's funny, the Tigers on their home uniforms have those big letters. The road ones are pretty big too. It barely fits on there.
I can't hear the name Albuquerque without thinking of my old buddy Rocky Bridges. Of course, Albuquerque was the Dodgers affiliate in the Pacific Coast League when I played here for the Phoenix Giants, and Rocky used to take some good-natured shots at the Dodgers, and he said, Albuquerque, I can't spell it, but I can smell it.
So he's been there.
Yeah, apparently.
2-1.
I misspelled it myself today on my scorecard.
It's A-L, Al. Oh, that's nice. It's in Albuquerque for the New Mexico Bowl last fall. There's a strike, 2-2.
Borderline pitcher's pitch right there.
That's a tough swing pitch in the at bat too. Instead of being 3-1,
exactly,
possibly a fastball count where you could tee one up and let it go. And now you got a battle with 2 strikes.
You know the slider's coming.
Reaches down and knocks it into center. Peralta will charge into third. And the Diamondbacks have the tying run at third with 2 outs. Aaron Hill 2 for 4. And the bat is really coming around. He's hit in 6 straight and 8 of his last 9.
That's a nice piece of veteran hitting right there, huh, Junior?
That's a veteran hitter right there. Nice piece of hitting.
He knows Al Albuquerque lives and dies with that slider and a 2-strike count. Pretty sure that's what you're going to get. So Aaron Hill just stayed on it, flipped it out there to the right of straightaway center field, and the Raging Bull turns the corner at second. He has no intention of slowing down until he gets to third base.
He is like a locomotive out there. And now here we go with the Diamondbacks. 2 on, 2 out for Goldie. He doubled and scored in the 4th. He has struck out twice, 1 for 3.
He's such a dangerous hitter with runners in scoring position. It's a big at bat right here.
Ball 1. If you know you're facing a guy that has a big time slider like Albuquerque, do you just kind of spit on it and just wait for the fastball, or what do you do?
Not necessarily. I'm thinking up the middle of the way. I'm not trying to pull him right here in this situation.
And roller to third. Cabrera gets the force on Hill, and the Diamondbacks ran 2. Junior Spivey, we'll see you on Diamondback Live after the ball game. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
to you by Cox Communications and Fry's Food Stores is set to take you to a D-backs game coming up on August 10th. Just stop by this month's participating Cox Solution Store in Casa Grande or the Fry's Food Store in Prescott Valley. And you can enter to win 2 seats on the Fan Express. Round-trip transportation to and from the game. Well, that's what round-trip transportation is. The 10th and the 24th of next month. For more information, visit FoxSportsArizona.com and get on the bus, Gus. Matt Stites on for the 8th.
13th appearance of the season for Matt Stites. He's yet to give up a run here at home. 6 of his appearances here at Chase Field, all scoreless.
And he has shown, Bob, that he's got the stuff. He's got the velocity. His ball moves. He's had a track record in the minor leagues as a very, very good command and control guy. He's not a guy that walks a lot, but up here at this level, it's been a little more hit and miss with the command and the control.
Yeah, he was voted by Baseball America as having the best control among all Arizona pitchers in the organization. So maybe first time around in the big leagues, pitching to the bubblegum card instead of the hitter. Sometimes you just have to focus in on your catcher. Trust that Miggy's going to hang down the right fingers, give you a good target to throw to, and call the right pitches.
Well, this guy had his bubblegum card come out when Matt Stites was in diapers. Torrey Hunter leads off the 8th. Hunter, Suarez, Holiday, 5, 6, and 7. Stites has got the velocity, 95 and north of that oftentimes, and the ball moves pretty good. So roller to short. Didi Gregorius throws him out. Well, it's that time again. Junior Spivey, with all that was going on, kind of got off the hook in that last half inning. And so it might be good. I think Junior actually ducked out because he picked the back end of 2 horses as his fan photo.
I think he's making a shot at us.
I think it's a less than thinly veiled shot at the 2 of us.
Oh.
No wonder he made a quick exit out of here. He was, all right, boys, I got to go.
Got to go.
Now we know why. Wow, that was right up there with Brandon Webb's varmint photo. It was a gopher or a possum or something?
In his backyard, I think. I don't know.
Eugenio Suarez, Brandon Webb. Now Junior Spivey's on the list. Todd Walsh upset at the fan photo choice. What are you thinking? 1-1 to Suarez, who's 0 for 3. Well, it'll be hard to top the Star Wars costumes that you and I put on yesterday. That was part of the pregame Star Wars Day extravaganza. Did you return the Chewbacca costume to the dealer?
I was supposed to return it.
Well, still in the closet. Rolled up the middle, another play for Didi. 2 up, 2 down for Matt Stites. This was yesterday on Star Wars Day, the pregame show. As we donned I had my Stormtrooper outfit on, and that's BB as Chewbacca. Had to be hot in that thing.
Still sweating.
It was an internet sensation.
You must have said something funny. Yeah.
It's hard. It sounded like this inside a helmet. It's hard to talk with that thing on.
There's Brian Holiday, 0 for 3, struck out twice. Thanks to all of those who participated in Star Wars Day yesterday. Big hit here at the ballpark. 37,000 plus at a lot of Diamondback fans and Cub fans too here over the weekend. Chase Field was full to watch the Diamondbacks sweep Chicago. And another good crowd here tonight. Now we got the catcher who's twice struck out trying to bunt for a base hit.
And while he makes his way back to the plate, we want to extend birthday wishes to Meg Buchan down in the truck. Does such a great job on our crew on a daily basis. Meg celebrating a birthday yesterday, I understand, but she wasn't here.
25, 26,
something like that. Yeah.
I would think there'd be a birthday cake graphic already or something. That's just not Meg's style. Oh, 0-2 to Brian Holiday. 97 kind of yanked that one a bit. 1-2. Nice to see Matt have a nice, clean, tidy 1, 2, 3, 8 here. Looks like he's overthrowing. I think he senses that, and he's kind of overthrowing these last two.
One of the toughest things for any young player, but especially a young pitcher, is try to keep your emotions under control. Keep your mechanics under control. Don't get outside yourself. We hear that cliche all the time. Stay within yourself. You know, the stuff that Matt Stites has is good enough if he keeps his mechanics solid, gets his arm in a good throwing position, but occasionally, like a lot of young players, he tries to do a little bit too much, throw it a little harder, get a little more break on that breaking ball, and that's when he loses the zone.
You want to get Holiday here. You got Davis on deck. Chop to third. It backs up Prado. Sets and throws. And it's a 1-2-3-8 for Matt Stites, who gets 3 ground ball outs. Diamondbacks trail it 4-3. Half of the game. Fans follow every D-backs game with MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. You'll get live look-ins, instant replay, score stats, audio, a free MLB.TV game of the day, and a lot more. You can download on the App Store or visit dbacks.com today. Diamondbacks down 1 and on somewhere in there in that beard. Remember when the midges were around him in Cleveland? This is a former Yankee, Jabba Chamberlain, who has found a home, and now that he's healthy in Detroit, has really pitched well for these Tigers.
44th appearance of the season already for Jabba Chamberlain, averaging right about a strikeout per inning. Held opponents to a .218 batting average. Fastball, slider, curveball combination from Chamberlain.
This is Jabba bringing out the lineup card for Brad Ausmus. Hard to recognize him in there. Former Yankee sensation, all kinds of injury issues, but he has landed in Detroit and has found a home as a setup guy for the Tigers. He'll face Miguel Montero, Mark Trumbo, and Gerardo Parra. 4, 5, and 6 in the Arizona 8th. Guys, a Jabba wannabe, apparently. We had Star Wars Day yesterday with Jabba the Hutt. Now we've got Jabba Chamberlain. Miguel Montero, an RBI and a liner back to the mound in the 4th inning. He's 0 for 3, but did drive in a run. Miggy 12 more hits, and he'll have matched his total from all of last year. Had 3 hits and 3 RBIs in the weekend sweep of the Cubs. When Jabba first came up with the Yankees, it was all about the radar gun. He just rear back and fire, high 90s.
Yeah, he throws as many breaking pitches as he does fastballs now. Throws his fastball right about 48% of the time, but mixes in the curve and the slider the other 52% of the time or so.
He used to come in there when he first arrived with the Yankees and just blow guys away. Two and one. A Miggy home run. Yes, he went. Can't hold up, says Jim Reynolds. 2-2.
Pitches in this at bat, 3 breaking balls. It's not the Jabba we knew, as you mentioned, when he first came up with the Yankees.
Remember that playoff game at Cleveland where the midges got him and they were those little bugs? They were all over him. In fact, Joe Torre said that was one of his great regrets of that season, not pulling his team off the field. And those bugs came out to bother his pitcher. Suarez throws Montero out. What a line.
Jabba Chamberlain had this beard when he was pitching for the Yankees in Cleveland that night. He'd still have some midges in there.
That's right. That thing is a work of art. And he'll work to Mark Trumbo. Mark is 1 for 3, RBI single in the 4th. And a chance maybe right here to tie this game up with 1 swing. Tried to do just that, but missed at 87. 0-1. Jabba be in the 70s with his velocity. Got him up 94, 95. That was high 80s. Same pitch, 0-2. Got Trumbo swinging out of his shoes.
Slider on the way. That one way off the outside corner, trying to lead him out of the zone.
Bounces that one, and it's even 2-2. Mark Trumbo. 4 hits in 21 at bats since he's been back from the foot injury. And the at bats for the most part have been very encouraging. Bounce to third, Cabrera. Well, he did play over there for 2 years. This is nothing new for Miguel Cabrera. Might be new this season. He's at home down there at third. That's the second out. Now let's take a look at our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool play of the game. Gerardo Parra back in the 6th, tied it up. He took Verlander yard. His first home run since May 21st.
Go down and dig it out. That pitch appeared to be off the plate inside, down below the knees, right where Gerardo likes it. Golfed it out of here to right field.
And he's 1 for 3. That slider was such a weapon, Bob, for Chamberlain against the right-hand hitting Trumbo. How does the fact that he's now facing a lefty change that?
Well, especially since Gerardo Parra hit a pitch that was down and in, where a lot of right-handed sliders will end up against the left-handed hitter. I think they'll probably just try to stay away here. 2 fastballs on the outside corner to start the sequence. He's immediately ahead 0-2.
Brian Knight may have given Job a benefit of the doubt with this one.
I mean, if he is going to throw a breaking ball, he should probably try to throw it to the back door, throw it to the outside corner, but it's an easy pitch to make a mistake with. I think he's just going to stay fastball away.
Called strike 3. 3 fastballs all the way, and Parra can't believe it. Up and down, up and down. Chamberlain works a 1-2-3-8. He sends us to the 9th. Diamondbacks down 1. Good ball game for you tonight here at Chase Field. Our Gila River game summary as we start the 9th. Diamondbacks trail the Tigers 4-3. Detroit had an early 3-0 lead. Torrey Hunter a 2-run homer in the second. Austin Jackson a solo shot in the third. Diamondbacks came back to tie with 2 in the fourth on RBIs by Montero and Trumbo. Then Parra homered off Verlander to tie it in the sixth. Tigers took a 4-3 lead in the seventh on a Miguel Cabrera RBI single. He was thrown out trying to stretch it into a double. And Matt Stites is back out there for his second inning of work. He'll work to Rajay Davis to open up the 9th. The pitcher spot is due up next for the Tigers, and the red hot hitting J.D. Martinez is in the on deck circle. This guy has been a sensation. Cast off from the Astros and has been one of the Tigers' best hitters this year. 1-1 to Davis, who's reached base all 3 times he's been up there. A single, a double, and a base on balls. Coming at you.
Getting closer.
That's 2. Nathan is at a rocky road this year as the Tigers closer is warming up. Better lately for Nathan, but there was a while where he pitched his way out of the job. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Davis. At Stites, a 1-2-3-8, 3 ground ball outs. 2-2. High chopper behind the bag at second. Didi been busy down there. 4 in a row retired by Stites, and now we'll get a look at Martinez. J.D. Martinez, a career .251 hitter in 3 seasons in Houston. But look at him now. He's at .330 with 13 homers. He had never hit more than 11 in a season, and he has been an absolute steal for the Tigers this year. Released by the Astros in March, picked up by Detroit. Not sure what the Astros didn't see, but Martinez has already turned in career highs in doubles and homers, and he's hitting .330.
He really wasn't a big-time home run hitter even at the minor league level. Just has really come into his own this year.
In the offseason, went home and completely changed his swing, and it has really worked out well. You see how he gets everything kind of going to the ball. He looked at his swing and thought, I don't have as much stuff in the hitting zone as guys like Ryan Braun and some of the other guys he looked at, even Miguel Cabrera. So he's completely retooled everything. Went home to Venezuela, changed the whole thing, and it's really worked out. He says he's got more momentum now, going to the ball, a stride, a leg kick, whatever you want to call it. And that gets that whole swing there started.
Yeah, very upright and off the plate, quite a distance off the plate, but his stride kind of takes him in toward the inside corner. You would think he would be susceptible to fastballs on the inside part of the plate, especially up above the belt.
And Stites doing that thing with his front foot again. Look out, the bat is near the dugout. Gregorius makes a tremendous play to throw him out as the bat went flying. And how about that barehanded pickup by Didi?
Easy to get distracted. You have equipment flying all over the field, but yet you have to focus on that little dribbler that just got by the pitcher's mound, and Didi plays it like a third baseman fielding a bunt. Fires across there in time to get Martinez at first base.
So much athleticism from Didi Gregorius. So 5 up, 5 down for Stites, all on ground balls. And here's Austin Jackson, who has homered and doubled. He scored twice. 97 is in there, 0-1. Austin Jackson mentioned how putting him back in the leadoff spot at the beginning of this month has turned it around this year, and he's our APS Energy All-Star. 18 games in the leadoff spot, and he's at almost .340. They wanted to get him back into a place where he was comfortable. He used to be the leadoff man. And putting him back up there did the trick. Last 10 games, he's got 18 hits. If Matt Stites can get through this hitter right here, it'd be a big confidence boost. 2 clean 1, 2, 3 innings, 5 ground ball out so far. That's progress.
Now, not to mention saving the bullpen from using another arm to get through this ball game tonight.
And these are the storylines that you follow as you watch the games with us, as you develop some of these young guys, hitters and pitchers alike. We've talked about David Peralta. And Matt Stites is part of the equation and will be down the road in the bullpen. And every night you tune in and watch the evolution, the progress that some of these youngsters make. Trying to be part of things down the road for the Diamondbacks. Another ground ball. Easy play for Prado. 6 up, 6 down, and Matt Stites is pumped up walking off the mound. And we'll go to the bottom of the 9th in a 1-run game at Chase. Is on. This is one of the more established closers in the big leagues for a long time now, but it's been a rocky road for Nathan this year in Detroit. You see the ERA is over 6, 19 for 24 to save opportunities. He closed 9 straight ball games from the middle of April till the middle of May, and then after that kind of fell off the wagon a bit.
This is a guy that's been one of the best in the game for a long time. He surrendered 5 home runs this season in just over 35 innings of work.
And there was a while where it just looked like it wasn't going to work out, and if the Tigers were going to win that division, they would have to go out and find another guy to close games. That's how bad it got. But Nathan has been a little better as of late. They'll work to Martin Prado, Didi Gregorius, and the pitcher spot. Bottom third of the Diamondback order here in the 9th. Prado doubled in the 4th. He's 1 for 3. There's a strike, 0-1. Joe Nathan, 39 years old. He'll turn 40 at the end of this season. A 6th round pick by the Giants back in '95. And he has put up some big save numbers. Didn't do a whole lot with the Giants, but some 40-plus save seasons in Minnesota. A couple of top 5 finishes in the Cy Young voting. He's been an all-star 6 times. Saved 43 games in Texas last year. Pitched to a 1.39 ERA. So the troubles this year, nobody saw coming.
Somewhat of a rarity, a 3-pitch closer. Fastball, slider, curveball. He'll use both breaking pitches.
Two balls and a strike to Martin Prado. Chops that one foul, 2-2. I think Prado is really in his own head right now. Just looks, you can see him thinking.
There's a time for that. I mean, I was going to mention it when Mark Trumbo was at the plate facing Jabba Chamberlain. He would step out of the batter's box and you could see the gears were working, you know, thinking, okay, threw me a slider last pitch. I've seen him in the past. This is how he's pitched me in the past. What's he most likely to throw in this situation? But once you step back into the batter's box, you have to clear your mind and just see the pitch and react.
There's a good take there. Now it's full 3-2. Got him. Dropped it in there for strike 3. And another Diamondback hitter walks away, having a conversation with Brian Knight, but this was a pretty good pitch.
Yeah, that front door slider kind of started right at the hitter and break it to the inside corner. It's not where you anticipate that slider. Most right-handed pitchers throw the slider down low and away from a right-handed hitter, and that time Martin just froze in the batter's box. It dropped in there on the inside corner.
Didi Gregorius 0 for 1. He has walked twice tonight, once intentionally. Pitcher spot is due up next, and Cody Ross is on deck. There's a strike, 0-1. Let's take a look at our top tier player of the game, brought to you by Arco, and we're talking about the resume of the Tiger closer. Since 2004, only Mariano Rivera in the major leagues has saved more games. That's pretty impressive. Really drives that to center. Austin Jackson drifts over toward left center field. And that's the second out here in the 9th. Here's Cody Ross. Cody 8 for 22 as a pinch hitter this year. He's a 233 on the year, but that's a little deceiving. Over his last 25 games, 11 of those starts, Cody's hitting nearly 330. And he is the last man standing here in the Diamondback ninth. Base hit. Tying runs aboard, but remember, Cody is really fighting that calf, and they will have to pinch run for him. And indeed, looks like Nick Ahmed is coming out of the dugout to pinch run for Cody.
Pinch running for Cody Ross, number 13.
And that'll give Peralta one more at bat.
Now batting center field.
Stayed right on that slider. Looked like Cody was up there looking first pitch fastball against Nathan. He got the slider on the first pitch, came up empty, but saw the same pitch again later in the at bat and lined it into center field for a base hit.
Nick Ahmed is the tying run at first with 2 outs, and David Peralta steps up. Peralta walked his last time up. He's 0 for 3. .82 miles an hour. Peralta swinging a miss, 0-1.
All these Tiger relievers that we've seen tonight, Al Albuquerque, Java Chamberlain, and now Joe Nathan, a lot of breaking pitches.
David's parents here visiting from Venezuela. Oh, and 1. That one got him.
Got him on the back leg. The fastball running inside that time. Kind of a defensive swing once he realized that ball was going to come inside off the plate. Unfortunately, got just enough of it to foul it off of that back leg.
Got some. The knee and then maybe the front foot too. Back knee, front foot. That ain't fair. And now he's down 0-2. Ahmed wanders a little too far off first. And he's back safely in time, but it was a little too far off the bag for comfort as Holiday scooped it up.
Holiday's done a nice job back there tonight. I just mentioned all the breaking pitches we've seen from the Tigers. Really all their pitchers tonight, and he has handled every pitch in the dirt easily.
1 ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs. Nick Ahmed, the tying run at first. Caps in place for a D-backs team that's won 7 of its last 10, coming off a 3-game sweep of the Cubs. And trying to stay alive here against the American League Central leaders. There goes Nick Ahmed. Peralta chops it to first. Easy play for Martinez, and that's the ball game. Joe Nathan locks down a 4-3 Tiger win, snapping the D-backs 3-game win streak. But Bob, the Diamondbacks have showed up here with a new pitcher, some key guys injured, and they battled the American League Central leader. It's one of the best teams in baseball, nose and nose here.
Yeah, I mean, this was a very well played ball game on both sides of the field, and just unfortunately a couple of pitches left up and out over the plate by Nuno early in the ball game, a couple of home runs, but other than that, a very well played game. That close.
4-3 your final. Let's start Diamondbacks Live. The post-game show begins. Junior Spivey's with Todd Walsh.
You just started it, Steve. Thank you very much. And Junior, we're going to come back and get the show rolling here in a second, but I just want to tease the audience out here. I want to put a bow on the conversation we had on the pregame show. You felt like you left something on the table. We had a discussion about Miguel Cabrera in the second segment with Rod Allen from the Tigers broadcast, and you didn't get one nugget out there. And it played out in this game. That nugget, of course, is Miguel's numbers with runners in scoring position.
He's the reason why he's one of the best. Well, the reason why he's one of the best hitters in the game is because he's so dangerous with runners in scoring position. He has unbelievable numbers with runners in scoring position. In fact, he has great numbers with runners on base. So he's a much dangerous hitter when he has runners on base.
All right, we will talk about that. We'll look at those numbers. We'll hear from Diamondbacks manager Kirk Gibson, player reaction from the Diamondbacks clubhouse. Who knows, maybe even over in the Detroit Tigers clubhouse. Plus, Bob Brenly will join us in a matter of moments. Diamondbacks fall 4-3, game 1 of 3. Diamondbacks Live starts.